Good morning, viewers of the Indian Express. I am Flora Swai, and you're watching the live coverage of the counting day special of Maharashtra and Jharkhand assembly elections. Today is a judgment day for one of the biggest states in India and, of course, the crucial tribal state of Jharkhand. And throughout the day, we'll be bringing you the live coverage of the counting. We'll be speaking to our Indian Express experts and senior journalists. And, of course, we will be dissecting it all for you to see who gets to rule the state of Maharashtra and who becomes the CM in Jharkhand. For starters, there are 6 major parties battling it out in Maharashtra. Apart from the national parties of the BJP and Congress, there are 2 regional parties and who have divided themselves into 2 more factions. So there are 6 major forces that are tussling with each other in form of 2 alliances, that is the Mahayuti and the Mahavikas Agadi, to take control of Maharashtra. Similarly, in Jharkhand, there is the NDA bloc and there is the India bloc with the incumbent JMM supported by the Congress and, of course, BJP and its supporters. Jharkhand so far has had 7 politicians who became CM, but only ex-CM Raghubar Das completed 5 years. We have visuals right now from across the country, from especially Maharashtra and Jharkhand, where the counting is underway in the various counting stations. Coming back to Maharashtra, apart from the 6 parties that I just mentioned, there are other regional players also at play. For example, Raj Thakre's MNS, Prakash Ambedkar's Vanchit Bahujan Agadi. There is a AIMIM and Manoj Jarange Patil that we all know, the 42-year-old Maratha activist who has been making waves asking for Maratha quota, demanding the Maratha quota, the Maratha pride. Then there's obviously the Samajwadi Party as well. The Mahayuti Alliance, the BJP is battling it out in 149 seats. Eknath Shinde-led Shiv Sena is fighting it out in 81 seats, and the Ajit Pawar's NCP is contesting in 59 seats. Similarly, in the Mahavikas Agadi, that is better known as the MVA coalition, the Congress is fighting it out in 101 seats, while Uddhav Thackeray's faction of Shiv Sena is contesting in 95 seats, and NCP of Sharad Pawar is contesting in 86 seats. Apart from that, there is a Samajwadi Party also that is contesting in 9 seats. There's a Peasants and Workers Party of India contesting in 4 seats. MNS is contesting in 125 seats. There is a BSP in 237 seats and the VBA in 110 seats. Apart from this, the CPM also is contesting in 3 seats. I would also like to tell our viewers that the BJP and Congress are battling it out in sort of a direct fight in 76 seats. The major areas where they are contesting with each other headlong are in Vidarbha, West Maharashtra, North Maharashtra, Konkan, and of course Marathwada. Similarly, the Sena versus Sena, Eknath Shinde's Sena versus Uddhav Thackeray's Shiv Sena, they are contesting in 49 seats. And in fact, I would like to tell our viewers that the capital city of Mumbai is the epicenter of the Sena politics. Apart from that, you have NCP versus NCP also. Ajit Pawar against his uncle Sharad Pawar in 38 seats. 20 of those seats are in West Maharashtra. Baramati, of course, is a prestige battle. Earlier, it was a battle between Sharad Pawar and his nephew Ajit Pawar. But this time, the Assembly constituency of Baramati is witnessing a battle between Ajit Pawar and his nephew Yogendra Pawar, and the seat has been held by Ajit Pawar since 1991. Apart from that, you have the Mumbai metropolitan region. There is a Konkan, there is central Marathwada, East Vidarbha, where NCP is contesting in 5 seats headlong. Similarly, coming back to Jharkhand, no party has won a majority on its own in the 5 assemblies that have been elected so far. The state of Jharkhand came into existence on the 15th of November in the year 2000. This state is one of the richest states when it comes to minerals in India. And there are 81 assembly seats in Jharkhand, 14 Lok Sabha seats. In the year 2019, the previous assembly election that was held in Jharkhand, the BJP won 25 seats and the JMM clinched 30 seats along with Congress with 16 seats and the JVM with 3 seats. In the meantime, we have reactions pooling in from politicians from across the country, and let's take a look at what Shaina NC has to say. She was at the Siddhivinayak temple this morning. Let's take a look at what she has to say. But before that, I would also like to tell our viewers that we are joined today by 2 of our reporters, Alok Deshpande, all the way from Maharashtra, and of course, Abhishek Angad from Jharkhand. Hi Abhishek, hi Alok. A very good morning, 23rd of November, the weekend is here. And how is it? It's not yet time for the early trends, but tell us, how is it looking to both of you this morning? Starting off with you, Alok, what is the Maha edge going to be? What is the Maha confusion all about? We'll come back to Alok. Angad, if you can hear me, tell us what are the early numbers looking for you? How are you feeling this morning with the counting that is underway?
Yeah, so good morning from Jharkhand. Everybody had a very tense night yesterday. A lot of politicians said that they couldn't sleep because it is estimated that, it will be a very tight contest between India and NDA. So as far as the early trend that I'm seeing on the screen right now, it's like BJP plus is 22 and India is 8. But I'm sure this is more tighter than the difference that it shows right now. One of the reasons that I tell you this is because the extra number of women turnout that has happened in Jharkhand this time. I have the election commission data with me, and the number of women electors versus the voter, there's 70.46 women electors voted this time, as compared to 65.06% male electors. So this is very significant because it could say a lot of things, but one of the things is also how the government scheme, which was Mahayuti Samman Yojana, resonated with them. But it's very early to say that if at all this is the case. So this is there, and there are 81 seats in Jharkhand, and let's see if which party or which is able to form get a majority of 42. More than that, it's both the camp believes that they will get majority in this in the results. However, it could also lead to a hung assembly, so we don't know yet.
Absolutely. If you can tell us overall, what were the issues that the BJP and the JMM and Congress, sort of touched about in Jharkhand? What was the political messaging for both the parties?
Yeah, so JMM went out to the election saying, look, we have waived off your electricity bill to the tune of 3,500 crore for 40 lakh families. And while we were doing the ground reporting, this also resonated with the people. That's number one. Number two is definitely the Mahayuti Samman Yojana, which JMM is taking pride counting on, is that they gave 1,000 rupees per month to the women of underprivileged women from 18 to 50 years of age. So these two things, and also sort of Hemant Soren had universalized the pension which earlier wasn't in the state. And so from so he was counting on the welfare schemes. He also hit at his identity politics, as how the people from outside the state is coming and they are telling Adivasis what to do and what not to do. So he also hit that, and there was a lot of swing in favor towards him in tribal area. That's number one. BJP from day one had come, and they've been telling, look, from day one they said it's polarization, polarization, polarization. So they said infiltration had happened in Santhal Pargana area, which has 18 seats, and two of the districts is share their boundary with West Bengal. So they are saying that, look, their infiltration has happened. That's number one. Number two, the Adivasi women are marrying Muslim men out there, and number three, the land is being grabbed. So even in different parts of Jharkhand, this was their key political plank. We also saw some very development related issues, in the sense that either Hemant Soren has not given jobs as promised. There were deaths of the people who had come to for recruitment, excise recruitment things. But these were all underlying messages to the electorate by the BJP. But predominantly, it was how Hemant Soren government is doing appeasement politics, and Mr. Modi, in fact, said that the infiltration, their own system has been infiltrated. So it was so JMM is basically welfare, identity politics, and BJP was about polarizing the electorate, and of course attacking Hemant Soren of non-performance in the last 5 years.
Angad, I would also like to ask you about, tell us what were the last numbers when it came to the voter turnout, because, after 7 o'clock, there were numbers still sort of trickling in. So according to the ECI, what were the last numbers? Where did it end? And, how do you see if there is a considerable increase or decrease? Which area do you think, sort of surprised you in terms of a voter turnout? And what did the voter turnout numbers mean to you at the end of the day?
Yeah, sure. So I have the updated data with me. I'm just looking at, and I was just comparing it with the turnout which happened 6 months ago during the Lok Sabha election. For the sake of that, if we compare 2019, it means there's a lot of base that has to be revised. So for equity of the base, we are just comparing from 2024 Lok Sabha versus 2024 Assembly. So what I have is here that in Lok Sabha, the number of electors, the male electors, were 1.
So I would like to give our viewers an overview that in the year 2000 in Jharkhand, the BJP had about 33 seats to itself, and the JMM had only 12, the Congress had 11, and the RJD at that point of time had 9. In 2005, the BJP, 5 years later, sort of went down by 3 seats at 30. The JMM upped their game by 5 seats and went on to 17, and Congress had 9 and the RJD at 7. Similarly, in 2009, the BJP went down from 30 to 18, and the JMM also clinched 18. The Congress had 14 and the RJD 5. That was a year when the JVM also made its political debut and clinched 11 seats for itself. In 2014, the BJP formed the government in Jharkhand with 37 seats. The JMM had 19, Congress had 6, the AJSUP had 5, and the JVM had 8. And like I mentioned, in 2019, the BJP had 25, the JMM had 30, Congress had 16, and the JVM had 3. And of course, the JMM and the Congress in tandem went on to form the government. The tribal vote is super crucial in Jharkhand. But before we talk more about Jharkhand and the crucial votes, let's take a look at what Shaina NC has to say. She was earlier this morning at the Siddhi Vinayak temple. Let's take a look.
देवीचा नक्की आशीर्वाद आहे आणि मुंबईकर म्हणून सिद्धिविनायक गणपती बाप्पा मोरया. मला वाटते की लोकांना परिवर्तन पाहिजे मुंबादेवीमध्ये आणि नक्कीच 15 वर्ष झाले एकच आमदार प्रगती नाही आणि लोकांना पाहिजे प्रगती. आदरणीय मुख्यमंत्री एकनाथजी शिंदेचा लाडकी बहीण योजना आणि एक लाडकी बहीणला पाठिंबा दिला धन्यवाद. आणि मला वाटते की गणपती बाप्पा आणि ठरवणार प्रगती आणि फक्त प्रगतीच्या राजकारण.
प्रचारामध्ये मुंबादेवीमध्ये मोठ्या प्रमाणात प्रतिसाद मिळाला होता. आता निकालात दिसेल का, तुम्हाला काय वाटतंय?
100% लोकांचा पाठिंबा आहे, महिलांचा पाठिंबा आहे, युवाचा पाठिंबा आहे आणि आमच्या क्षेत्रामध्ये कायच क्लस्टर रिडेव्हलपमेंट नाही. स्कूलची समस्या, अस्पतालची समस्या, लायब्ररीची समस्या. नक्कीच आम्हाला पाहिजे की परिवर्तन येईल.
सिद्धिविनायकासमोर काय साकडं घातलं?
गणपती बाप्पांना हेच विनंती की महाराष्ट्र एक विकसित महाराष्ट्र आणि पुढे जाऊन महायुतीच्या नेतृत्वामध्येच सरकार इकडे महाराष्ट्र. I think there are too many changes required. 15 years you had an MLA but no development at all. Cluster redevelopment and housing is the biggest issue for people in Mumbai. If you look at women, what do women want? They want safety, security. There are no hospitals, there are no schools. Unfortunately, open spaces is a distant dream. So I think the entire blueprint needs to be chalked out with a proper development plan to make it into a model constituency, because unfortunately today it's probably the most backward constituency in Maharashtra.
How did you reach the voters there, since demography plays a very significant role? And
you know, I have never played divisive politics. I've tried to take everyone along in every sense. But having said that, there are certain parties that only appease vote banks and play pseudo-secular politics. I think we need to move beyond that. The time has come to only talk about development, and the younger generation understands that. The women have been so inspired by the Chief Minister's Ladki Bahan Yojana and the kind of applause that women have given to this scheme, because their lives have been empowered. So in Mumbai, of 40,000 women, you have 15,000 Ladki Bahans, which are Muslims. So everyone has come along and supported, and I'm sure it will be a historic victory. माँ मुंबा देवी का आशीर्वाद तो हमेशा लेते हैं, लेकिन मुंबईकर होने के नाते गणपति बाप्पा मोरया, तो सिद्धि विनायक में यहाँ गणपति बाबा का आशीर्वाद लेके यही एक लक्ष्य है कि महायुति की सरकार आए, हम जनहित में काम करें सेवक और सेविका के रूप में, और देखें कि भारत एक विकसित भारत की तरफ और महाराष्ट्र एक प्रगतिशील रफ्तार से, जैसे 1.5 साल में हमने देखा है एकनाथ शिंदे, देवेंद्र फडणवीस, अजीत पवार को और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री के इतने सारे लाभार्थी स्कीम्स हैं, तो लोगों ने विश्वास जताया। मुझे लगता है कि मत जरूर मिलेंगे। लोगों को पता है कि मैं सच्चाई के साथ काम करना चाहती हूँ, और जो काम प्रधानमंत्री और मुख्यमंत्री ने किया उसका लाभ फायदा जरूर है, लेकिन जनता जानती है कि जब 15 साल आपने एक नेता को मौका दिया जहां एक क्लस्टर की डेवलपमेंट नहीं, एक प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट नहीं, एक स्कूल नहीं, एक अस्पताल नहीं, बेसिक कम्युनिटीज नहीं, अभी भी इतनी समस्या, लोग त्रस्त है पानी और बिजली को लेके, और मुंबा देवी सबसे पिछड़ा कंस्टिट्यूंसी है, तो मैं मानती हूँ लोग मुझे जरूर चुनेंगे।
Do you think Lok Sabha election results might have set the tune for results, or maybe
Look, for people who try to set a false narrative, they will constantly go on about numbers. But as they say, that, you know, jo jeeta wohi Sikandar, and I'm very confident that today that jeet is going to be of the Mahayuti.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
And that was Shaina NC. And now we are joined by our reporter from Maharashtra, Alok Deshpande. Hi Alok, can you hear me? Anyway, the battleground constituencies in Maharashtra include Worli, where Milind Deora, who's from the Eknath Shinde-led Shiv Sena, he joined recently, is fighting it out against Uddhav Thackeray's son Aditya Thackeray and Sandeep Deshpande from MNS. Apart from that, like I mentioned, Baramati is seeing a family tussle between an uncle and nephew. Ajit Pawar is fighting it out with his grandnephew Yugendra Pawar, and Bandra East has Zishan Siddiqui locked against Varun Sardesai. Apart from Bombay, there's Nagpur Southwest, where Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis is aiming for a fourth term and is challenged by Congress's Praful Godade. And lastly, Chief Minister Eknath Shinde is facing significant competition in Kopari, Panchpakadi, making these contests pivotal for Maharashtra's political future. Similarly, I know exit polls were just mere predictions and there is no guarantee as to their accuracy. The exit polls suggested a closely fought contest between the Maha Vikas Aghadi and the ruling Mahayuti alliance, but there was no such clear winner in sight. The Mahayuti is projected to secure somewhere between 118 to 175 seats, and the MVA is trailing with an estimated 69 to 122 seats. Interestingly, 3 surveys in the exit polls indicated the possibility of a hung assembly as well, opening the door for potential alliances and post-election strategies. In fact, there have been reports since yesterday that there are numerous hotel rooms being reserved. Choppers are on standby to woo the independent candidates. Maharashtra Assembly elections this time especially saw around 50 rebels who have changed sides or decided to contest the elections as independents. As the counting progresses, there will be more clarity. And talking about the rebels, there have been 26 those who quit the Mahayuti alliance. 18 of them also quit the Mahavikas Aghadi coalition, and like I mentioned, both of the alliances have lost around 50 candidates. In Mahayuti alliance and even in the MVA coalition, there are also friendly fights happening amongst the alliance. The BJP is fighting Shiv Sena and NCP, Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena and Ajit Pawar's NCP in 13 seats. In 12 of the seats, Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena is fighting it out against BJP and NCP. Meanwhile, Abhishek Angad from Jharkhand is back with us. Abhishek, do you have any numbers for us? Early trends?
So whatever that I'm just seeing on screen is that BJP plus is 28 and India is 11. So, but these are very early trends, and if this continues, then the Saffron Party led the government may form the government, but it's very early to say that. Yeah, so I was just talking about the number of voters and the voter turnout that had happened, electors and the voter turnout that happened in this election, and I was saying that how women, like it's in absolute numbers, 5 lakh more than Lok Sabha election that voted this time across Jharkhand. So
Correct.
This may mean 2-3 things, that men have migrated to places and there are only women who are here to vote. But I was talking to some of the experts. They were saying that this could also mean that the Maiya Samman Yojana has resonated well with some of the women, and they have come out in large numbers to vote for the party. But we will know it not for sure until the result is out. Also, this new party which had made a significant impact in the coal belt area, that's Jharkhand Loktantrik Krantikari Morcha, led by Jairam Mahto. Women also supported that party a lot. So it could also result of, from one particular community, that is could be Mahto in Jharkhand. The women from that community have also come out and voted for this rising leader. So that could be multiple, that this could be multiple ways in which we data could be interpreted. But as of now, we just see and sit tight, and hopefully the trends will become more clearer in the next 1 hour.
Absolutely. Can you tell us a bit more about the Maya Saman Yojana?
Yeah, sure. So when Hemant Soren was arrested for money laundering charges and he was in jail, so what happened is then only this policy was formulated that women sort of needed some universal basic income in Jharkhand, and this was also in the lines of the other states where they were transferring direct benefit transfer amount to a lot of women in different states. So in Jharkhand, what has happened is they have reduced the age of pension to women from 60, old age pension from 60 to 50. So that's one barrier. So they decided that from 18 years of old age to 50 years of age, they will directly give 1,000 rupees in their bank accounts. And this has happened. This is the fourth installment that they gave in this month. And but this is very interesting that the moment this scheme was announced and it started becoming popular, a lot of electorate in different areas. So the BJP announced that their scheme called Didi Gogo Yojana, they'll give 100 rupees to the women in across constituencies, and they also started collecting different forms. So now JMM and Congress got very insecure by BJP's announcement. So they went ahead and passed a cabinet and called in a cabinet, and they said that from December onwards, we will give rupees 2,500 per month to all women. So yes, so in our ground reports also, the women said that okay, they were really happy, but there are also a lot of other women who said, matlab, this is just a election plank, and this could not basically mean that this scheme will be continued even after Hemant Soren wins. So this could be also a fraud. There's some women who also said that because, of course, the BJP and other alliances were telling that you wouldn't get this sort of the scheme benefit of the scheme after the GMM is formed again. So yeah,
Right.
so it's popular, but that's in some pockets it's not popular.
Absolutely. Abhishek, we'll also speak to Alok Deshpande from Maharashtra. Let's see how is it looking in Maharashtra. Alok, can you tell us if there are a little bit of numbers in? How are the early trends looking to you?
So the early trends, these are still the postal ballots, and it's going neck to neck in Maharashtra, where the Mahayuti, led by BJP, is ahead in some 134 seats, while Mahavikas Aghadi, the opposition front, is ahead in 110, 112 seats. So it's going pretty neck to neck, and these are still postal ballots. The EVM counting hasn't started yet. In some constituencies where it was expected that big leaders from these constituency will take early lead, it's happening on the same lines. Nothing surprising as of now, but we'll have to wait for some time, because as the as the time passes, the EVMs will open and the actual counting will start. So as of now, it's going neck to neck, as everybody has been predicting.
Absolutely. Alok, I had also asked the same thing to Abhishek from Jharkhand. He's here with us as well. Up until the last day of voting, that is on the 20th of November, numbers were still trickling in towards the end of the night. So if you can give us a brief overview on where the numbers ended, how did the voter turnout look like? We have a very good piece written by you on the rural representation as well. So if you can tell us what it all means to you at the end of the day.
On the day of polling, the final voting percentage that was announced by the Election Commission of India was around 65.1%. But as we have been seeing, in past few elections, the voting percentage changes a day after. So it changed yesterday, the final tally, as according to the Election Commission of India, is 66%. So in 2019, the voting was around 61%. Even in the 2024 Lok Sabha, the voting was around 61, in the same range. Now we have seen a jump of around 5% votes. Also, what we have seen is the absolute number has increased, of course, because the total number of voters has increased. But at the same time, the male voters have increased by 3% as compared to 2024, while the women voters have increased by 6% as compared to 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Now, many within the ruling side are giving credit to this Maji Ladki Bahin scheme announced by the Mahayuti government, where 1,500 rupees being deposited in every women's account who's below poverty line. And the government has been claiming that it's a game changer scheme, and they will have a superb benefit out of it, and women voters will extensively for the ruling side. But along with that, there were issues like agrarian distress. For example, in Lok Sabha, there was the issue of export ban on onion, and it harmed BJP-led alliance in the northern Maharashtra, the onion belt. Now, in Vidhan Sabha, in Assembly, the issue was about soybean. The MSP for soybean was 4892 rupees, 4892 rupees. But it
Right.
was complained that the farmers were not getting more than 4200, 4300. And it's a very important cash crop in Maharashtra, which has an impact on around 60 to 70 assembly constituencies. And what we have seen is the rural Maharashtra has voted in large numbers across the districts. Like for example, in a Pune district, which has urban and rural pockets, we have seen increase in all constituencies, but the increase is more in rural pockets compared to the urban assembly seats. Now, how all this will transform into the actual result, we'll see in next 2 to 3 hours. But so every party is interpreting this data as on for their benefits, and this is happening this is exactly what is happening. So let's wait for 2 to 3 hours and we'll have a clearer picture now. As of
Of
now, it's
course.
going neck to neck.
I just want to
Right.
quickly chip in, and I just want to say that it's very interesting that how BJP and everybody saying that this direct benefit scheme will give a vote game changer in Maharashtra, but here in Jharkhand they are saying that women will not vote for the Genuine Congress
Exactly.
for the same
Exactly.
scheme. Yeah.
So apparently the schemes are not unequivocally applicable everywhere. The formula needs to be tweaked according to the state and the electorate, of course.
Yeah.
Alok, I also want to ask you that
Yeah.
apparently Sharad Pawar is very confident that the MVA will get around 157 to 162 seats, and the opposition has directed all the winning MLAs to be in Mumbai by tonight, right?
Yes.
We
Yes.
discussed yesterday with you how choppers were on standby, hotel rooms were being booked,
Yes.
and a contingency plan, a plan B was in place. You also mentioned that no alliance was leaving any stone unturned in making sure about the result of each constituency, about each seat. But what do you make of the statement by Sharad Pawar?
He was addressing the online meeting of all the NCP candidates and district presidents. He specifically mentioned about the exit polls, and he asked all of them not to trust these exit polls, and he gave the number. If you remember, around 3 months ago, at a public rally in a place called Purandar, he had said that this is the time to change the government. Now, it is very rare for Sharad Pawar to make such kind of statement. And after 3 months, in an online meeting just before the day of counting, he has given the number 157. So I'm pretty sure that he has some strong, and this has come after collecting all the information from the local leaders, and his guys in every constituency and taking the stock. What I'm hearing from Congress is also the Congress report to the High Command from Maharashtra is also in that range of 155 to 160 is what they say that MVA is comfortable on. But ultimately, we this thing will, of course, will come to know in 2 to 3 hours. But what is interesting is yesterday in the online meeting held by Congress leadership, they specifically asked their candidates, the whoever wins, they have asked them not to engage in any victory procession, not to waste any time in their constituency, and just rush to Mumbai. One of the reasons is the Maharashtra Assembly deadline is 26th November. The new assembly has to be constituted before 26th of November. That's the last date for
Right.
present assembly. Today is 23rd. So we have the MVA has around 3 days if it is in the position to form the government, to stake the claim, to present all its MLAs in front of the government, and the governor will also have to invite the leader, whoever they choose, to form the government. So that's why the opposition is taking absolutely no risk. They're keeping no stone unturned. What we are hearing is there has a hotel has also been booked in Mumbai. So they want to keep everybody together. Of course, we have past experiences of 2000 from 2019 till today. That MLAs can go anywhere, anytime with anyone. So it is that is one of the reasons why these guys are keeping it very tight, keeping it very giving keeping it very strict with these candidates.
Of course, the early trends show that the BJP plus the alliances have extended an early lead in Maharashtra and Jharkhand. Maharashtra CM Eknath Shinde is leading in Kopri Panchpakadi. The MVA gets letters of supporters from over 160 candidates, and the Mahayuti is leading in the MVA stronghold of Vidarbha. In Lok Sabha by-polls, meanwhile, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has taken an early lead in Wayanad. From Sharad Pawar, I want to move on to Hemant Soren. Abhishek, how is Hemant Soren taking a look at the elections? What is his POV?
Yeah, so during the past interview that I had I interviewed him like 3-4 days ago, and then he said, "Are you nervous?" I was asking him, then he said, "No. Why should I be nervous? Because I'm going to win this election." And he was pretty relaxed when I had questioned him. So I that could be one way you could interpret it, that it's an overconfidence. Another way you could say that no, he really knew that what's happening, which will be clear in the next 1 hour or so. But there is some credit due to Hemant Soren, as in he was taking on the entire machinery of the BJP when they had come, like Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Mr. Home Minister to various union ministers to Himanta Biswa Sarma. Everyone was in the state campaigning against him, but with him was only two important star campaigners. It was he himself, and more than him, it was Kalpana Soren, that she was going all around the to make a connect with the electorate.
Absolutely. So it's a prestige battle for both Hemant and his wife Kalpana, right?
Yeah, so because this is the first time when Mr. Hemant Soren was put to jail, the Jharkhand never knew that there's another leader which has been emerged from the same Soren family. And Kalpana Soren had come, and her first speech, she broke down and she said that the injustices that has been meted out to the entire family by sending Soren to jail, Hemant Soren to jail. Now, she has been going and campaigning all across for different political leaders as well, saying, look, this is the scenario where the central government is coming and talking about, development, but they're here to take away the resources from Jharkhand. That's number one. Number two, they used to simply say that the infiltration has been taking place. There's a BJP saying, but if infiltration is happening, then it's Mr. Home Minister's responsibility to protect the borders. So they have been able to counter the BJP narrative well in different parts. But the NDA and the BJP wins, it means that the polarization, the election plank of the BJP has resonated well, at least within the non-tribal community in the state. But if the BJP and NDA wins, it would also mean that they take over some of the constituencies in the tribal communities, which decide how and where the power will go. And there are 28 scheduled tribe reserved seats in Jharkhand. And last time BJP was reduced to just 2 seats, and the JM in Congress won 25 seats. So it's this 28 seat which will decide the fate of the Jharkhand, that where the power will go. So, but if the BJP and if they form any the government, it means that they will have significant impact in these tribal areas as well. And if the JM in India forms the government, it means that they rejected the BJP's idea of infiltration and other things, and as well as something about the welfare schemes which Hemant Soren is basically relying upon to that will make his government win. So that is the situation as of now. It is indeed a prestige battle for both of them, more so for the BJP because it inducted a lot of tribal leaders into their fold. There are a lot of chief ministers who are involved in this election, former chief ministers, for instance. Champai Soren is involved, Arjun Munda is involved, he's also the former union minister. This Raghuvar Das, the governor of Odisha, his daughter-in-law is running for a seat. She's also involved. Madhu Koda, his wife is also running for a seat. And then there's the first chief minister, that's Babulal Marandi. So there are at least 4 chief ministers here, and then we talk about Hemant Soren himself. So there are 5-6 chief ministers that are directly involved in this election. So whether or not what has resonated, what hasn't resonated, it will be very clear in the next 1 hour and the next 2 hours. So let's see who gets the lead and who tends to show the people of Jharkhand that look, we are the popular leader for you.
Absolutely, Abhishek. We'll circle back to you. But in the meantime, we have former CM of Jharkhand and Saraikela sitting MLA Champai Soren, who is fighting it out for the BJP against a former BJP candidate, Ganesh Mahali of JMM. Let's hear what Champai Soren has to say.
हम यहाँ आराम से बैठे हैं, है ना। आज से 8 बजे से शुरू होगा। हमको पूरा विश्वास है पूरे झारखंड प्रदेश में, कोलान से लेके संतरपरा से पूरा झारखंड प्रदेश में भाजपा का ही जीत है, मैक्सिमम विधानसभा में। कहीं किंतु परंतु नहीं है, और सरकार भी बनेगी, भारतीय जनता पार्टी का ही बनेगी, इंडिया गठबंधन का ही बनेगी।
क्या कारण है कि आप इतने कॉन्फिडेंट हैं?
विश्वास है। हम लोग चुनाव प्रचार के समय से ही संकेत मिल चुका है। हर गांव, हर टोला, हर शहर से भाजपा के पक्ष में वोट हुआ, भाजपा गठबंधन के पक्ष में वोट हुआ। इसीलिए
आप लोगों ने बहुत मेहनत की। क्या मुद्दे हैं जिनको लेके आप इतने विश्वास में हैं कि आपकी पार्टी?
देखिए, झारखंड में सबसे बड़ा ज्वलंत मुद्दा उठा है संथाल परगना में बांग्लादेशी घुसपैठ, वहां का आदिवासी के जनसंख्या घटना, जिस धरती में ब्रिटिश साम्राज्यवाद भी वहां पर झुकना पड़ा। संथाल परगना में वीर सिद्धू कानू, चांद भैरव फूलो जानो के नेतृत्व में संघर्ष हुआ, संथाल परगना बना, संथाल पर कास्करी अधिनियम बना। उस जगह में बांग्लादेशी घुसपैठ, वहां का आदिवासी का जमीन का कब्जा आदिवासी महिला के साथ जबरन शादी करना और उसी जगह में जमाई टोला बनाना, ये दुर्भाग्य की बात है। हमारा आदिवासी समाज का व्यवस्था बिगाड़ दिया और मूलवासी का भी बिगाड़ दिया। इतना तेजी से जनसंख्या बढ़ रहा है, बांग्लादेशी घुसपैठ है, ये बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा है। उसका साथ साथ 4.5 साल ऐसा काम नहीं किया। हम भी उस सरकार का हम भी अंश थे। ना यहाँ आदिवासी का हितैषी का काम हुआ, ना झारखंडियों के, ना मूलवासी के हित। हर चीज इसीलिए भ्रष्टाचार तो बहुत चरम सीमा पर कर रखा है। इसीलिए इस बार का चुनाव में भाजपा गठबंधन के ही सरकार बनेगी। ये भी तो 7 साढ़े 7 हो रहा है और 1-1.5 घंटा के बाद आप लोग का सारा फिगर आ जाएगा। हम बोल रहे हैं जो वही आएगा।
सब तरफ यही चर्चा है कि कौन बनेगा मुख्यमंत्री।
देखो, वो तो दल है बड़ा, सबसे बड़ा दल है भाजपा देश में, और वहीं से तय होगा। फिर उसका बाद विधायक के बीच में चर्चा होगा और वहीं से ना कोई बनता है नहीं बनता है ना, इससे बड़ी तय कर लेगी। थैंक यू।
That was former CM of Jharkhand, Hemant Soren, who is a sitting MLA of Saraikela, and he's also battling it out with Ganesh Mahali of JMM, who was earlier in the BJP, and Hemant Soren from JMM has now moved on to the BJP and is contesting Saraikela from the BJP. In the studio, we are joined by the senior journalist of the Indian Express, Liz Matthew. Liz, the early trends are in, but because that was Hemant Soren speaking and you have travelled to Jharkhand, what are your first thoughts on the early trends? And secondly, what was the Jharkhand experience all about?
The early trends, now it's too early to say actually. It's I think it's just 9:15, right? So too early to call, but it is, as of now, it is going as expected. Like it's not that, you know, the BJP is having a kind of sweep or some, you know, the Hemant Soren, JMM, Congress and others in the India bloc had under-incumbency against it, but still they are not like far behind, you know, as of the earlier trend. Also, when I, along with Abhishek, travelled in Kolhan region, which is very tough for BJP because it's a tribal dominated. We have seen that in 2019 and the you know, the elections after, the BJP couldn't do well in the tribal regions, and 2024 Lok Sabha election also BJP couldn't win a single you know, tribal dominated seats. So the fight, there was a very intense fight, and BJP was trying, you know, taking out all in its armor to kind of win some seats in Kolhan region. But you know, the tribals, what we saw on the ground was it was not as easy as expected, because it was expected that the sympathy, you know, that was what actually helped the JMM in the Lok Sabha election, but that would kind of die down after he again reinstated, or he became the chief minister again, replacing Hemant Soren, who had a brief stint. Then the BJP tried to take the key leaders in the JMM from that region to party, like Hemant Soren is the main person, and they thought that he's like, you know, in Jharkhand, you know, there are too many tigers, you know, because he is also known as a tiger there. So
29 years old.
yeah, like, so then the Chambai Soren is also known as a tiger, when it comes to the electoral politics and the tribal politics. So it was expected that the Chambai Soren's entry into BJP could help BJP to kind of tide over the perceived anger among the tribals, and we have seen, it was very. Me and Abhishek were trying to talk to many tribal leaders, why they are, because in Chhattisgarh, another state which was born with Jharkhand. Chhattisgarh, the tribals have voted for. It is also a tribal-dominated state, and more or less the similar, terrain and the way people think, a lot of similarities are there. But still, the tribals in Jharkhand, somehow were not trusting BJP. So
Correct.
why? So the BJP this time, other than the Kolan region, they tried this, this infiltration bogey again. To kind of consolidate their support and also kind of polarize the tribals, so that because there were issues with the Muslim Hindu issues are there, so the BJP has given this infiltration illegal immigrants theory to the tribals, and they kind of try to kind of split the vote. I think to an extent in that region, Sangal Pargana region, they kind of succeeded. But in Kolan region, they will not seem to be. Only the results will give you the last picture or the real picture. But it didn't seem like the people were saying why BJP, they were not trusting. The tribal leaders were saying because of the BJP, when Raghubar Das was the chief minister, the BJP-led government tried to change the land laws, which was given, which was kind of protected the tribal and their rights in that the two laws. They tried to kind of tweak, which and the tribals led a massive protest, and it was kind of violent protest in Ranchi. Then so because of that effort from the BJP to take away the land, so that's what they quote unquote take away the land of tribals, they don't trust the BJP. That's what many tribal leaders told us. Also they said that the way that the religious cultural issue, because tribals say that we are not Hindus, we are different. We worship nature. We don't worship the idols. Any religion which is worshipping idols, we don't belong to. So they have very, in the Gotras and all, very, very strict rules, and and they, if something, if one sect is particularly worshipping a turtle, then if a turtle enter their premise, they can't even touch it. They have to get somebody else from other Gotra to cleanse it. And it was very eye-opening for me, to know what exactly their culture, and how strict and how protective they are about their culture. And in this effort, when the BJP tried to get this Hindu the coverage, they are not everyone is. I'm not saying no one has gone. Not everyone was accepting it. But still, the BJP had the advantage of the OBC support, which is almost more than 40% OBCs in the state. So the BJP was, while trying to consolidate that OBC support, they were, and anti-incumbency factor of course helped them in this. They were trying to get some tribal votes also. So if you go by the trend, it looks like they have succeeded at least in getting these two things on their on their platter like this. So in that case, the BJP would succeed in, and then again, okay, of course, even if succeed, there is not the final picture. Then again, we would talk about it later, about the issues which they would be facing in after the post-election results also.
Definitely, we have a couple of leads coming in. Ajit Pawar is leading in Baramati, and in Kopari Panchpakadi Assembly constituency, Chief Minister Eknath Shinde is also
What is
leading.
BJP's tally now in Maharashtra?
In Maharashtra, the BJP is leading in 140.
No,
I'm sorry.
Mahayuti is leading. I'm asking.
I'm sorry. In Mahayuti is leading by 140. MVA is at 130. BJP is leading in 93.
Oh,
And Congress is at 49.
okay. But BJP has contested in 148.
Yeah,
So-
we are also joined by Abhishek Angad from Jharkhand. We are joined by Sandeep Singh from Bombay, Maharashtra, and Parth Sarathi Biswas from Pune. Sandeep, Liz is here in the studio with us, and like I just gave the update, 130 leads for MVA coalition and for Mahayuti 140. What are your thoughts on this?
Those, I mean, mostly would be postal and very early trends from. I mean, but if you see the ECI website, I mean, still, I mean, it's swinging towards Mahayuti only. It's say 34, 45 to Mahayuti as of now, and 11 to MVA as per ECI's latest update. So, but still, these are very early trends. The important factor, I mean, given the trends that are coming, I mean, to see would be, I mean, we witnessed a huge surge in voting in Maharashtra, which was like around 5%, 4.7% to be precise. And women voters, it was 6 percentage point. So the bulk of the heavy lifting in terms of rise in voting percentage was by women voters. And we must remember that there was a Ladki Bahin Yojana that was there, and around 2.4 crore women benefited out of it. They have been getting 1,500 a month. So, I mean, given all the farmer issues that Vidarbha, Marathwada, we have been talking about Maratha reservation issues and all, the big factor is this voting percentage. I mean, you also have to see that there are 71 lakh more voters this time. And this is in comparison to what we saw in the Lok Sabha elections. So, in just 6 months, 71 lakh new voters are there, and that's around 12% or 13% from surge from last time. The number of voters who casted their votes. So these are some very important factors. Whichever way it tilts, I mean, if it goes one way, it clearly is going to a big victory for one side. If you go seat by seat, I mean, as per the issue based, I mean, then it might be a tough contest. We'll see how it pans out. Yeah.
Of course, Sandeep, there are also places of friendly fights. There are places where NCP is going headlong into the other faction of NCP, and there is Sena against Sena. Do you think, in your experience, it sort of confuses the voter? I know the electorate has already voted 6 months ago in the Lok Sabha polls, but do you think there is still an element of confusion somewhere, maybe?
I don't think there is much of confusion there. I mean, obviously, in some corners, some remote areas, it would be an issue. But largely that was sorted. I mean, especially in the last election, it got sorted, and whatever. I mean, now that the regional, the state elections are happening, people have campaigned locally, so a lot of those issues have been sorted. Yeah, right now, people know which is the symbol, except for a very small percentage. But yes, the confusion. One point to note is that, I mean, there are so many independents in the fray, and so many independents. So and some friendly contests, as you pointed out. But they are limited now. Till after the withdrawal of candidates happened, I mean, a lot of it was sorted. There are some 30-40 seats there, but largely it's sorted. Yeah.
Sandeep, in I think 49 constituencies, these two Shiv Sena are fighting against each other, and 38 in NCP, two factions of NCP. So how are they faring in this? Who's leading? Any idea?
As of now, the numbers are clearly like Shiv Sena, as per the ECI numbers, I would go, not by what others are saying. 14 to Shiv Sena has 14. Shinde Sena. There is
Okay.
no number for Uddhav Sena as of now. And four for Uddhav Sena, 14 for Shinde Sena. Ajit Pawar has 11 and Sharad Pawar's NCP has 7 as of now.
Oh, okay.
BJP versus Congress, it is 20 to 4. The surprise that is coming is from Vidarbha side, yeah, because that is
How is
where
it?
MVA was expected to do well, but as of now it seems Mahayuti is doing very well there.
Oh, which means
I mean,
BJP
very
is
early
doing
trends,
very well.
but yeah. Because bulk of the contest, 36 are between Congress and BJP. 36 of them are in Vidarbha only.
Yes.
Absolutely. Moving on to Pune, we are joined by Parth Sarathi Biswas. Parth, what are the early trends, the early numbers that are trickling in? What are they telling you?
So hi, the first thing that I would like to say that these are very early trends. The EVMs have just been opened in some of the seats. The postal ballots just got over, and so to come to any conclusion at this moment would be difficult, but and immature also. But given the trends that we are seeing, Ajit Pawar has ensured a lead in Baramati, while another seat where we were keeping a close watch on is that of Kasba in Pune, which was won by Congress in a bypoll. Here, Ravindra Dhangekar is leading of Congress, and in another seat which is interesting, obviously Baramati is the seat which everyone is talking about, and other seats where the fight is between Congress and BJP or the two NCP factors. There is a mixed match thing of going on. It's as Sandeep said, if I go by the ECI's website, the lead BJP has established in 31, Shiv Sena, that is Shinde Sena, is 20, NCP Ajit Pawar 15, NCP Sharad Pawar 8, INC 5, Shiv Sena Balasaheb Thackeray 4, BVA is 1, Samajwadi Party 1, PWP 1, Vanchit 1, and other there are 1, 2, 3, 4, and there are 3 independents also. The seat which is pretty interesting for me at this moment is of Madha and Kolhapur North. Kolhapur North had a very royal, I would say a royal battle, because at first the Congress was supposed to give the seat to Rajesh Latkar, but somehow that did not materialize and it was given to Madhurima Raje, the daughter-in-law of the sitting MP, Chhatrapati Shahuji Maharaj, but she withdrew her nomination at the last moment and Rajesh Latkar became the unofficial candidate of MVA. Now he is leading from Kolhapur North as per the ECI's website. Madha Ranjit Shinde is leading after the first round. The margin is pretty thin, 238 votes. And Ranjit Shinde is a migratory bird. He always migrates where the power is. So as of now, he is leading, but the margin is extremely thin. And also in Karzat, it is Sudhakar Gare of independent who is also leading. The fight in Pune is mainly straight, other than Purandar, where it is a friendly fight between NCP, Ajit Pawar and BJP, along with the sitting Congress MLA. Most of the fights in Pune or in Western Maharashtra is state. It's very straightforward with few independents who can make any mark. The fight that is going to be interesting is in Marathwada and Vidarbha, which is the soybean belt. We had moved around extensively in Marathwada, and soybean seems to be a very important and very important topic to the voters because the prices were down and everyone was talking about prices of soybean there. Now, Marathwada has a lot of independent candidates who can cut in quite substantial number of votes, and that can affect Mahavikas Aghadi. And Mahayuti might just scrape through in Marathwada. The only seat that we are getting some signals from Marathwada as of now is Cage in Beed district. Now, Beed district is one which I'm very interested in because there the fight is very fight is very stiff, and there is a lot of independent candidates who can dent. And there is kind of polarization between the Marathas and the OBC. Marathwada, as you would know, was the hub of Jarange Patil's Maratha reservation, and so there was a chance that there would be Maratha versus OBC consolidation, which would have helped BJP in the long term. But that seems to be happening because in Cage Congress, I think this it is leading in bid district. 6 constituencies, 4 had dipped in voting, and Ashti was the only one where there was an increase in voting. Here, Suresh Dhash, the BJP candidate, is leading by a margin of over 1,879 votes against an independent, Bhimrao Dhonde, who is an OBC. The fight was here between Suresh Dhash, Mehboob Sheikh of NCP Sharad Pawar, and Bhausaheb Ajbe, who is the sitting MLA of NCP Ajit Pawar. So it seems the OBC consolidation has happened. Obviously, this is just the first round behind Bhimrao Dhonde, who is an OBC leader himself, and he can play the spoil sport for any one of them. So overall, in Western Maharashtra, Marathwada, the picture is too early to call, but we can see from the ECI's website, BJP is doing relatively well, quite well actually, and Mahavikas Agadi might not have been able to get its act in place after the Lok Sabha elections.
Absolutely, Partha. Thank you for the numbers. And Abhishek, moving on to you, Liz was talking about the tribal vote bank for the BJP. Now, there are 28 total tribal seats, out of which in 2019, BJP had won just 2, and JMM and Congress alliance together had clinched 25. How is, do you think, BJP structuring, or rather structured its political narrative for the tribal belt especially?
Yeah, so before going to that, I just want to quickly chip in the visual that you showed of Mr. Hemant Soren talking about the infiltration. And that's exactly how Liz and I had written that article, how we started that. One of the electorate told us that 40 साल से Hemant Soren ji ko infiltration dikha nahi, and the last, when he went to Delhi, he had some sort of chashma and some sort of black glasses, and then he started seeing infiltration. But that's precisely how BJP is targeting. Your land is being grabbed by infiltration. So the underline here is people belonging to one particular community who are taking over your land, marrying the Adivasi women. But when I go to the ground in Santhal, this issue is there that infiltration has happened in some places. But when I talk to them, let's say if it's a district called Dumka, I ask them whether it has happened in this part of the Santhal Pargana area. They say yahan nahi hua hai, thoda aage hua hai. So then I go to the next near to the border of West Bengal, that is Barhet Assembly Constituency or Sahibganj. Wherever I'm going, the people there are saying ki haan hua hoga, lekin yahan nahi hua hai, aage hua hai. So that's something because wherever I'm going, people are saying that, we know the people that they have been staying on that area. So it doesn't seem that infiltration has happened. Now that's one thing. Within the Adivasi community, particularly the youth, there may be some sense of some percolation of the idea of the BJP, because somewhere with whom I spoke to, some talked about कि हाँ job नहीं है और infiltration हुआ है, सरकार को कुछ करना चाहिए. But apart from that, lot of people in Santa, it did not seem to support, especially the tribal community, don't seem to support the idea of infiltration and women getting married to one particular community who's been touted as infiltrators as of now. But having said that, if BJP manages to get at least 10 tribal reserved seats, then we will be seeing that BJP and NDA is able to inch towards getting a majority on their own. So that's very interesting how the tribal seats play out, because that will hold the key to the power, provided that the BJP, again, whatever the strongholds that they have, there the BJP tries and keep their seats what they had won in 2019. There's one very interesting thing that I want to add on to. It's not related to tribal seats, but it's related to the seats in the coal belt area. That is Dhanbad district, Giridih district, and Bokaro district, which has 16 seats. And this is where the Kudmi OBC is very predominantly present. And the new party by this 29-year-old Tiger Jairam Mehto, JLKM, is doing, has sort of seen whose vote it will take up. So as of now, the trend that I am seeing here is BJP is leading in 3. Ally AJSU is leading in 2, that's 5 for NDA. And for India, if we talk about, then it is 6 to 8. 8 India is leading as of now. 1 is JLKM. And that's a seat which is NDA Ally AJSU party's seat. So, but from that seat, JLKM, Pooja Kumari of Jharkhand Loktantrik Krantikari Morcha as of now is leading from this place. So it's
thank you, Abhishek, for that update. We have reactions from various corners of the country. There are 6 major political parties fighting it out in Maharashtra, which is the biggest economy state-wise in India, the second most populous state, and the third largest geographical state in the country, and of course Jharkhand as well. Let's take a look at all of the reactions.
देखिए, राष्ट्र का चुनाव जीते थे, अब महाराष्ट्र का भी जीत रहे हैं, झारखंड का भी जीत रहे हैं। एकदम सब तरफ भारतीय जनता पार्टी, उसके गठबंधन की जीत हो रही है, क्योंकि देश मोदी के साथ है, देश डेवलपमेंट के साथ है, देश झूठ के साथ नहीं है, देश सच्चाई के साथ है। सत्य की जीत हो रही है, क्योंकि हर जगह जिस तरह से झूठ प्रचारित किया था लोकसभा के चुनाव में, राहुल गांधी लाल किताब दिखाते थे, अब वो लाल बुझौल वाला किताब उनका रह गया है। वो इसी तरह भ्रम पैदा करते थे, उनके भ्रम में अब कोई आने वाला नहीं है। महाराष्ट्र में जो शुरुआती रुझान दिख रहे हैं, साफ हम आगे चल रहे हैं भारी वोटों से, और झारखंड में भी हम आगे चल रहे हैं। इसमें कोई शक की गुंजाइश नहीं है कि हम अपार बहुमत से दोनों जगह सरकार बनाएंगे।
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने एक नारा दिया था, एक है तो सेफ है। लगता है जनता एक हो गई है।
पूरा देश विकास के साथ एक है और सेफ है।
आज महाराष्ट्र और झारखंड दोनों जगह प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में भारी बहुमत से एनडीए की सरकार बनने जा रही है। जिस प्रकार से पिछले 2.5 वर्षों में महाराष्ट्र की सरकार ने लगातार वहां की जनता के लिए गरीब कल्याण, किसानों का सम्मान, महिलाओं के उत्थान के लिए काम किया है, और दूसरी ओर महाविकास अघाड़ी के नाम पर केवल महाविभाजन दिखा और महा वोट बैंक अघाड़ी दिखी, जिसने हर तरीके से तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति करने में कोई कोर कसर नहीं छोड़ी। दूसरी ओर जेएमएम कांग्रेस की सरकार ने जिस प्रकार से जे फॉर झोल, एम फॉर माफिया और एम फॉर मुस्लिम अपीजमेंट किया, उससे झारखंड के जनता और खास करके आदिवासी समुदाय अपनी रोटी बेटी माटी संस्कृति को और रोजगार के अवसर को फिर से प्राप्त करने के लिए वहां पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी एनडीए की सरकार लाने जा रहा है। दोनों ही जगह पर प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में एनडीए की सरकार बनने जा रही है। हमें इसका पूरा विश्वास है। एग्जिट पोल आ चुके हैं और कुछ ही देर में एग्जैक्ट पोल आने के बाद दोनों जगह पर एनडीए की सरकार बनने जा रही है। और कुछ अंदेशा जिस प्रकार से संजय राउत जी के बयान आए हैं, सामना का बयान आया है, और जिस प्रकार से सवाल उठाए जा रहे हैं ईवीएम पर, नतीजे आने से पहले ही उदित राज हो या कांग्रेस के अन्य नेता हो, उसी से पता चल जाता है कि वहां पर अपनी हार को लेकर अभी से चिंता शुरू हो चुकी है।
देवीचा नक्की आशीर्वाद आहे। आणि मुंबईकर म्हणून सिद्धिविनायक गणपती बाप्पा मोरया. मला वाटते की लोकांना परिवर्तन पाहिजे मुंबादेवीमध्ये आणि नक्कीच 15 वर्ष झाले एकच आमदार प्रगती नाही आणि लोकांना पाहिजे प्रगती. आदरणीय मुख्यमंत्री एकनाथजी शिंदेचा लाडकी बहीण योजना आणि एक लाडकी बहीणला पाठिंबा दिला धन्यवाद. आणि मला वाटते की गणपती बाप्पा आणि ठरवणार प्रगती आणि फक्त प्रगतीच्या राजकारणात.
प्रचारामध्ये मुंबादेवीमध्ये मोठ्या प्रमाणात प्रतिसाद मिळाला होता. आता निकालात दिसेल का, तुम्हाला काय वाटतंय?
100% लोकांचा पाठिंबा आहे, महिलांचा पाठिंबा आहे, युवाचा पाठिंबा आहे आणि आमच्या क्षेत्रामध्ये कायच क्लस्टर रिडेव्हलपमेंट नाही. स्कूलची समस्या, अस्पतालची समस्या, लायब्ररीची समस्या. नक्कीच आम्हाला पाहिजे की परिवर्तन येईल.
सिद्धिविनायकासमोर काय साकार घेतात?
गणपती बाप्पांना हेच विनंती की महाराष्ट्र एक विकसित महाराष्ट्र आणि पुढे जाऊन महायुतीच्या नेतृत्वामध्येच सरकार इकडे महाराष्ट्र. I think there are too many changes required. 15 years you had an MLA but no development at all. Cluster redevelopment and housing is the biggest issue for people in Mumbai. If you look at women, what do women want? They want safety, security. There are no hospitals, there are no schools. Unfortunately, open spaces is a distant dream. So I think the entire blueprint needs to be chalked out with a proper development plan to make it into a model constituency, because unfortunately today it's probably the most backward constituency in Maharashtra.
How did you reach the voters there, since demography plays a very significant role and
You know, I have never played divisive politics. I've tried to take everyone along in every sense. But having said that, there are certain parties that only appease vote banks and play pseudo-secular politics. I think we need to move beyond that. The time has come to only talk about development, and the younger generation understands that. The women have been so inspired by the Chief Minister's Ladki Bahan Yojana and the kind of applause that women have given to this scheme, because their lives have been empowered. So in Mumbai, of 40,000 women, you have 15,000 Ladki Bahans, which are Muslims. So everyone has come along and supported, and I'm sure it will be a historic victory. माँ मुंबा देवी का आशीर्वाद तो हमेशा लेते हैं, लेकिन मुंबईकर होने के नाते गणपति बाप्पा मोरया, तो सिद्धि विनायक में यहाँ गणपति बाबा का आशीर्वाद लेके यही एक लक्ष्य है कि महायुति की सरकार आए, हम जनहित में काम करे, सेवक और सेविका के रूप में, और देखें कि भारत एक विकसित भारत की तरफ और महाराष्ट्र एक प्रगतिशील रफ्तार से, जैसे 1.5 साल में हमने देखा है एकनाथ शिंदे, देवेंद्र फडणवीस, अजीत पवार को और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री के इतने सारे लाभार्थी स्कीम्स हैं, तो लोगों ने विश्वास जताया।
That was Shaina NC. In the studio with me and Liz Matthew, we have the head of our National Political Bureau, Manoj CG. Manoj, welcome to the show. And first up, I want to know from the both of you, what's at stake for BJP, for Congress? Let's say hypothetically that BJP wins just Maharashtra. In that case, do you think that the Lok Sabha results will be considered an aberration?
See, increasingly Lok Sabha and Assembly elections, the results have been very different, and we have seen how the voters voting, even it is in one one polling booth, they vote differently for the Lok Sabha and the Assembly. For Lok Sabha, they have different, criteria to vote, or the reasons to vote for a particular party. They go for a leader and whose larger nationalism issue also comes in place. In the last few years, at least 3 elections we have seen, and the first 2014 of course was for change, and 2019 we have seen that Battleground, it was an issue, and 24 we have seen what happened. So there is a larger picture in mind when you vote for parliament in parliamentary election, and but in the state election they don't mind supporting and overwhelmingly for a regional party and a regional leader. We have seen in Telangana, we have seen in all these assembly elections, we have seen how people differentiate when it comes to Lok Sabha and assembly. So we can't say this is an aberration. Of course, if Jharkhand BJP doesn't win, we can say that the trend for the Lok Sabha kind of retained. But if Mahayuti is winning Maharashtra, then we saw that there was some anger or angst against the BJP-led NDA in the Lok Sabha, which kind of they managed to remove that. Otherwise, because it's a under incumbency also didn't work. If Mahayuti is winning, it shows that either we can say that the people voted for the Congress and the India bloc and they got disappointed with their performance. That can be one interpretation, like in the last few months, because it was generally perceived as a setback for the BJP in terms of consolidating this the tribal and Dalit votes. So it shows that when it comes to the state, the voters prefer to give this existing government continuity, and they are happy with the way the government is functioning. Also here we have to say that the schemes they have announced, it looks like the number of women who have come out and vote has gone up in this election. So the women voters matters, and BJP always, in the last few elections, not just the Lok Sabha election, also for the assembly elections, the BJP has focused on the women voters. The Prime Minister Modi has called that as silent voters. So which is to an extent true, because Madhya Pradesh, many of us and the exit polls got it wrong initially because they didn't consider the support of women. There was an overwhelming support of women in Madhya Pradesh for Shivraj Singh Chauhan and his schemes. So if you look at the other elections and schemes, even if you look at even the trend in Jharkhand, there were both the India bloc, the Hemant Soren led government and the NDA had announced schemes for women, and there was a fascination for that schemes. We have seen it in the ground also. So I think it is, if the BJP, the MEA Mahayuti is winning Maharashtra, it shows that their schemes for women have kind of succeeded in getting the support of women or capturing the imagination of women voters. And in Jharkhand also, maybe the other factors also have worked in to, then only BJP would be able to win it.
Absolutely. Manoj, you agree to that?
Yeah, mostly I do. If the trend that we are seeing now continues in Maharashtra, it's a remarkable comeback for the BJP. Having lost 30, if you add Sangli, where a rebel Congress candidate won in the Lok Sabha elections I'm talking about. So having lost 31 seats just a few months ago, to come back in this fashion, winning comprehensively, if the trends continue like that across regions. So one, of course, the much talked about Ladki Behna scheme, because we know in 2019, Jharkhand and Maharashtra elections were held along with Haryana. So this time the elections were delayed, apparently, the opposition would say, to ensure that a couple of installments of the scheme actually reaches the bank accounts of the beneficiaries.
Right.
So if that was the unstated aim, to ensure that the beneficiaries get at least 1 or 2 or 3 installments of this scheme, and so that really worked, if the trends hold like this. Secondly, we always debate whether the RSS, it worked on the ground, it did not work on the ground, because it's kind of a, the invisible force that propels the BJP. So it was said that in 2019, in 2020 for the Lok Sabha elections, the RSS kind of, played a bit was not on the ground.
Subtle role.
Yeah, there were some, of course, some differences between the leadership, the RSS leadership and the BJP leadership, and that played a part. Now this time, we saw in Haryana first that the RSS went full throttle. In Maharashtra, it is said that at least in the Vidarbha region, the RSS is doing extra work to ensure that the gaps at the ground level, that are filled, those creases are ironed out. So if the scheme and the groundwork that the BJP generally does, of course with the help of RSS, if that has worked, then that's a remarkable turnaround. And there are very important lessons for the opposition as well. They went into the Lok Sabha election, especially Mr. Rahul Gandhi and the Congress, with this narrative that if the BJP comes back with a 400 plus majority, they will change the constitution, they will alter the basic structure, they will take away the reservation, along with that caste census pitch and the demand for breaching the 50% reservation mark. So it was a caste-driven campaign, unlike the Congress in the past, which perhaps propelled the Congress from 52 to 99, and perhaps brought down BJP from 303 to 240, especially in Maharashtra, where there's a significant Dalit population, Dalit consciousness and awareness is there. So many of the observers felt that the performance of the MVA in the Lok Sabha elections was largely because of that narrative. They went into the election again. Now this is the state election. In the Lok Sabha election, you can argue argue with that narrative that the 400 plus and all that. This is the state election. The dynamics is completely different. But the Congress kind of went with the same slogan of constitution and all. So if that is the case, if the results that we are seeing now, the trends that we are seeing now hold, then the Congress needs to introspect, as well as the MVA partners, on how you cannot repurpose or refashion one particular slogan in every election and hope to win, hope it to click.
Absolutely. Speaking of that, how do you think that the Congress has sort of course corrected itself after Haryana?
No, Haryana is a completely a different game. In the sense, if you look at the larger dynamics, by just winning 99 seats in the Lok Sabha elections, the Congress and the larger opposition India bloc, they somehow managed to create a narrative that the BJP, which has come down from 303 to 240, is on the slide. After 10 years of preeminence, the BJP's slide, the electoral political slide has begun. So that narrative was kind of taking shape when Haryana happened. It took the wind out of the sails of the Congress. The opposition alliance also did not click there. The AAP contested separately, the Congress contested separately, Samajwadi Party fielded in couple of seats and all. So the entire narrative collapsed there in Haryana. But the dynamics in Haryana particularly was how the Congress projected a particular leadership, to name them the Huddas, and the BJP managed to unite the non-Jat Hindus. Because the Jats being the dominant faction, dominant caste of that state, we have seen it happening in UP where there is a polarization against the Yadavs. So that perhaps was a tactical or strategic mistake on the part of the Congress. If you talk to the leaders of the Congress, they would say no, the larger trend remains, the BJP slide continues, but it was a tactical mistake. But if the BJP manages Mahayuti in Maharashtra and the alliance in Jharkhand, the BJP-JSU alliance in Jharkhand manages to win both these seats, it is a complete reversal of the Lok Sabha mandate, where many of the observers and many of the leaders in the opposition felt that the BJP's decline has started. It's a complete reversal. After Haryana, if Maharashtra and Jharkhand, the BJP manages to win, it's going to be very demoralizing for the opposition, and the BJP will be on a really high. We have two big elections coming up. Delhi, 2 months away, and September, November of next year, Bihar. So the BJP will be riding really high.
Absolutely. How do you think that the Maharashtra and Jharkhand assembly elections are going to impact the winter session in the parliament?
Of course, more than the BJP, it is, I think these two elections, Maharashtra and Jharkhand were in elections for the opposition to perform. Because for the BJP, which has come back, of course the number was less, but it has returned to power for the third term. One, and also, Haryana, they have proved that trend of the BJP going down is not a permanent one. It was just a kind of aberration, but it was a very surprising and shocking for the opposition and stunning for the BJP, the Haryana victory. And now, if the BJP is if BJP is winning these two states also, again BJP is back on track. But of course, I am sure from the body language and from the way the leaders speak, BJP seems to have learned its lessons from the Lok Sabha election. I have noticed, not very bluntly, but also there is very subtly, there is a change in the language of Prime Minister Narendra Modi also, because he is more focusing on how the organization is winning. The BJP as an organization, because we know that till 2024, for at least 2 years, it was the BJP, everything was surrounding Prime Minister Modi, his popularity, his image, his governance record, everything was about Prime Minister Modi and his charisma. But in Haryana we have seen he was not a big factor in the Haryana election, and the same with Maharashtra and Jharkhand. We have seen Prime Minister made 2 foreign visits during this campaign. We didn't see the earlier kind of that what do you call it, that onslaught of PM Modi's campaign and the campaign around that personality in this election. It was more local issues and more for the local leaders to perform, and even the alliance to perform in both in Jharkhand and in Maharashtra. So that it looks like the BJP, it looks like, again, 2 things like Manoj mentioned, the relationship between the parental organization RSS and the BJP, and the BJP's strength, under Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah duo, the BJP's strength is its organization, how it has expanded, how it has built its network from the ground to the state to the national level, and it has become a very dominant party, the single pole in the national politics. That is because of the organization also. Of course, Prime Minister Modi's image and the way he is, his governance record or the way he approaches issues, it helped the BJP, but the organization made it so big. So there is some kind of, there has been a lot of murmur in the BJP, and the old school politicians in the BJP were kind of, feeling, little, sorry about what is happening, because the party as an organization, because like everybody says, other than the CPM, BJP is the most democratic party, it has been the party, but everything was leading to or confining to 2 people, so which had created kind of unease among a lot of senior leaders and the RSS leadership, because we know that RSS always call for this collective thing, the basic fundamental principle is for everything is collective. So it was going away from that. But although we have not seen a very what do you call it, a very proactive measures from the BJP leadership, the top leadership, especially from the Prime Minister, to have meetings with RSS leadership or not, there have been a lot of effort behind the screen, and there have been multiple rounds of discussion between the leaders of both, and they have improved. Haryana elections have proved that, and Maharashtra, of course, they have been, the RSS has been, because its headquarters also is there in Nagpur, and the RSS has been working hard. especially on this front where they felt that the campaign by the narrative created by the Congress-led opposition over this constitution amendment or changing constitution or abolition of quota, that fear, that had created a fear among the Dalit and tribal votes, and the RSS worked hard on that. The RSS has been working very hard on the ground to get rid of that.
I have to interrupt you, Liz, a little bit. We have early trend numbers. Again, I know you're going to say this is too early to say, but so far the BJP is leading in 105 seats, and at the same time the Mahayuti is leading in 173 seats, and the MVA is leading in 101. Any thoughts, Manoj?
No. I was not surprised by the numbers that the BJP would get. I think in an earlier conversation we had, because I was suggesting that BJP would be forced to do the heavy lifting in the Mahayuti. The uncertainty always was whether Mr. Ajit Pawar's party or Mr. Shinde's party. Shinde's party, because of the schemes and all, and because of the nature of Shiv Sena, which is concentrated in two particular regions. So there was doubt on whether they would be able to pull ahead. It was very clear that the BJP would more or less manage to retain their seats. They will be doing the heavy lifting. But now, if the numbers are like this, that means all of them are clicking. All the three of parties in the Mahayuti, they are surging ahead. I may add to what Liz was saying on the Parliament session, because the Congress especially was, I think, raring to corner the government on the Adani issue.
Yeah.
Even before the indictment of Mr. Adani and some of his family members in the US, the prosecutors in the US, the controversy over SEBI chief Madhavi Bush, and the parliamentary committee, the PAC, trying to summon her. So the Congress was preparing the ground to at least corner the government on one issue, at least on one issue. Of course, the other opposition parties will have their issues ranging from federalism and all that. So with this kind of mandate, if the BJP is managing to win both the states in this fashion, that will come as a dampener for the opposition's plans.
No, but I don't think it would be such a complete dampener, because Adani issue is entirely different. And the opposition, especially Rahul Gandhi, of course, they will be, because of this defeats, I think they will be projecting the Adani issue as the most important.
They are raring to go on that.
Yeah, they would be, and they would definitely disrupt the session. In the session, as far as now, as of now, the BJP, the government has only Waqf bill is there
the
in the
BJP has
agenda.
a counter in the
Waqf bill in the agenda. So, and no other controversial issue. So obviously the BJP would try to and there is also Manipur issue. So for BJP, it is like whether be it Manipur issue or be it Adani issue, the two issues the opposition is going to raise in the house is like, they don't have much defense on it, especially after the US, this indictment, what happened in the last 2 days to the Adani firms. So I think the opposition's effort in the session would be to kind of put the election results behind, and of course they have vocal strength now than more number than in the 16th Lok Sabha, 16th and 17th Lok Sabha. So I'm sure there will be an effort from the day one, which is Monday, of course, after the the 26th Constitution Day only. The session really actually begins only on 27th, like for the floor, whatever
regular business.
Yes, regular business will start from 27 only. So they will definitely come up in a big way, and because they would try to kind of put this the kind of embarrassment. And of course, because the sessions, the last two sessions, we have seen the opposition really charged, because of the Lok Sabha results and other issue, and Rahul Gandhi became a legitimate leader of opposition with the number. It's not like it's not a then, it's not a gift or somebody from the opposition, from the ruling party. It is actually legitimately he had earned. That difference we could see in the body language and the play on the floor of the house. But of course, this will give BJP, for BJP and its allies, this will be another kind of moral boost to be together, because of course the allies also have performed very well, but the BJP has performed very well. So the allies wouldn't have a kind of a reason to show or to show of strength, or to show BJP that we are also it's not like that. It's going to be the same BJP, we are the biggest party, and the allies, so the allies would quote unquote behave, so I think NDA will be a stronger thing, and we have to see whether again on these issues like Adani issue, how much the allies like TDP can come out and in defense of the government. They also matter. That is again another kind of a strength for the opposition, because the way Chandrababu Naidu has reacted to the Adani issue was like he was not sounding
largely
like
muted.
Yes, muted, and he was not supporting, or he was not like. So that is actually will leave BJP to defend. And as we know, and Manoj also would definitely know, like many in the BJP also have apprehensions and reasons to be upset over whatever is happening over this Adani firm, because they feel that by supporting, and the thing which has come out like yesterday, like the Adani group has not informed the SEBI or given a wrong information to SEBI about the US investigation. By law you are supposed to inform the the regulatory body that there is a probe investigation happening. Although the investigation has happening for almost a year, they have kept the regulatory body in the dark, which is all keeping other business groups also are asking. So obviously BJP is going to be in a very on defensive there. So we have to see, because I don't think this this victory only would make BJP. Of course they will try to show off that brave face, but I don't think opposition is going to, especially when they are on a back foot in the electoral politics. Don't you think so, Manoj?
Yes, of course they need to they need to raise some issues to counter the government. If there is an electoral setback, that will not mean they will keep quiet. Yes. And all. But of course on the larger political dynamics, how it played out in the last 4 months, it could be demoralizing for the opposition, in the sense after Haryana, then Maharashtra, yes. Jharkhand. But Parliament is a completely different.
That's what it is.
Even
demoralizing.
With 44 MPs in 2014 and 52 MPs in
2019.
The Congress punched above its weight.
When it comes to
Parliament, of course, when it comes to Parliament, they always punched above their weight, trying to put the government on the mat almost every time. If you remember Mallikarjun Kharge's that famous line that the Pandavas may be 5, the Kauravas may be 101 and all, but the Pandavas will win. I mean, it's a nice political line to say, but they have tried to punch above their weight.
Speaking of punching above their weight, we have one update. Let's not forget that the by-poll counting is also underway. Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is leading by a margin of over 56,000 votes in Kerala's Wayanad, while CPI's Satyan Mukherjee is trailing by 30,000 votes. Manoj, in one of your articles, you mentioned that right after the Lok Sabha polls, so far, the India Alliance, the India bloc leaders have not been seen together so far. Has it become an alliance just on paper?
In the run-up to the Lok Sabha elections, there were these big conclaves which happened.
Yeah, series of them.
Patna, Bangalore, Mumbai, and even if there were no conclaves, there were meetings, regular meetings at Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge's residence, dinner meetings, these photo ops, even the perfunctory. But post Lok Sabha, we have not seen much of that. although the leaders are on the same page while attacking the BJP, they mostly, coordinate their flow moves in Parliament. Haryana, of course, was an aberration where AAP and Congress fought separately. But if you look at the assembly by-elections in Bengal, everybody is on their own. Trinamool Congress has fielded candidates, the Congress has fielded candidates, the left parties have fielded candidates. So there is no alliance there. In Uttar Pradesh, although the Congress said that we are supporting, the Samajwadi Party, actually they wanted to contest in a couple of seats, which the Samajwadi Party did not agree to. So there are, certain issues in some of the states. And the larger India bloc, although it still exists on paper, we have not seen much of, the leaders sitting together, chalking out their next strategy. Okay, the elections have happened. We have not been able to, come to power. Although we have managed to, cut down the number of seats of the BJP. Let's plan the next move. That has not happened.
True.
But Maharashtra, the India Bloc Alliance partners are together. The three parties are together. In Jharkhand, JMM, RJD, and the Congress are together. So these two states, the outcome is also a test for the cohesion of the India Bloc. They fought the elections together. After the results, if there is a setback, then how the partners will behave? Will they be poking guns blazing at each other? There will be finger pointing. There will be accusations and counter accusations. So the result will also test the cohesion of the India Bloc in both these states.
Absolutely. I just mentioned Wayanad numbers. How do you think Priyanka is doing? 56,000 votes.
These must be early trends, but I'm sure she will win by a handsome margin. That means there will be 3 Gandhis in Parliament for the first time. I think in the history of the International Congress, the 2 Gandhis in Lok Sabha from the Nehru Gandhi family in Lok Sabha and 1 in Rajya Sabha.
There was wrong. There was other Gandhis also. Like
Varun and Menaka.
Varun Gandhi and Menaka Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi were in
that's a different family. I'm saying Gandhis of the Congress
family. It's faction versus faction
here
also.
It's Congress Gandhi family. He corrected it.
The family, the Gandhi family of the Congress.
Congress, yes.
So this also puts, gives although the BJP has been talking about this dynasty, they have played that card to the hilt. But once again, it will give the BJP one more, weapon to beat the Congress with, saying there are 3 members of the family in Parliament and all. But apart from that, it will give some more firepower, I believe, to the Congress, because Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, after all, is seen as a very capable orator, a good communicator. Her presence in Lok Sabha would give some more energy to the Congress in that sense.
Absolutely. That was Manoj CG and Liz Matthew with us. We'll keep on bringing the early trends and the numbers as they start trickling in. Before that, we'll also move on to a discussion with the editor of Lok Satta, Girish Kuber, after this. But before that, let's take a look at what the early trends are so far in Maharashtra and Jharkhand.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी की एनडीए की पूर्ण बहुमत की सरकार दोनों राज्यों में बनने जा रही है.
Early trends show the BJP-led National Democratic Alliance leading in both Maharashtra and Jharkhand. Here is what we know so far. While the NDA aims to retain power in Maharashtra and wrest control in Jharkhand, the opposition India bloc is striving to upset the Mahayuti alliance in Maharashtra and secure victory for Hemant Soren's government in Jharkhand. Maharashtra witnessed its highest voter turnout in 3 decades, which both the ruling Mahayuti alliance and opposition Mahavikas Aghadi had claimed as a sign of victory. According to exit polls, despite a close contest, the Mahayuti alliance is maintaining a lead. As of now, the BJP-led alliance is ahead in 62 seats, strengthening its position. In Jharkhand, the JMM-led alliance is locked in a tough battle with the NDA bloc. Voter turnout was recorded at 68.45%. Exit polls have predicted a shift in power, with the BJP-led coalition likely to unseat Hemant Soren's government. Currently, the BJP-led alliance is leading in 39 seats in Jharkhand. Half an hour into the counting of postal ballots, the NDA is extending its lead in both states. The final results will determine whether the opposition can stage a comeback or if the NDA consolidates its hold over these crucial regions. For more updates, keep watching the Indian Express.
मुझे लगता है कि मत जरूर मिलेंगे। लोगों को पता है कि मैं सच्चाई के साथ काम करना चाहती हूँ और जो काम प्रधानमंत्री और मुख्यमंत्री ने किया उसका लाभ फायदा जरूर है, लेकिन जनता जानती है कि जब 15 साल आपने एक नेता को मौका दिया जहां एक क्लस्टर रीडेवलपमेंट नहीं, एक प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट नहीं, एक स्कूल नहीं, एक अस्पताल नहीं, बेसिक कम्युनिटीज नहीं, अभी भी इतनी समस्या, लोग त्रस्त है पानी और बिजली को लेके, और मुंबा देवी सबसे पिछड़ा कंस्टिट्यूंसी है, तो मैं मानती हूँ लोग मुझे जरूर चुनेंगे।
Do you think Lok Sabha election results might have set the tune for results, or maybe
Look, for people who try to set a false narrative, they will constantly go on about numbers. But as they say, that jo jeeta wohi Sikandar, and I'm very confident that today that jeet is going to be of the Mahayuti.
ठीक है, थैंक यू मैडम, थैंक यू मैडम, थैंक यू।
लग रही है महाराष्ट्र में आपके चेहरे की मुस्कुराहट क्या कह रही है?
देखिए, राष्ट्र का चुनाव जीते थे, अब महाराष्ट्र का भी जीत रहे हैं, झारखंड का भी जीत रहे हैं। एकदम सब तरफ भारतीय जनता पार्टी, उसके गठबंधन की जीत हो रही है, क्योंकि देश मोदी के साथ है, देश डेवलपमेंट के साथ है, देश झूठ के साथ नहीं है, देश सच्चाई के साथ है। सत्य की जीत हो रही है, क्योंकि हर जगह जिस तरह से झूठ प्रचारित किया था लोकसभा के चुनाव में, राहुल गांधी लाल किताब दिखाते थे, अब वो लाल बुझौल वाला किताब उनका रह गया है। वो इसी तरह भ्रम पैदा करते थे, उनके भ्रम में अब कोई आने वाला नहीं है। महाराष्ट्र में जो शुरुआती रुझान दिख रहे हैं, साफ हम आगे चल रहे हैं भारी वोटों से, और झारखंड में भी हम आगे चल रहे हैं। इसमें कोई शक की गुंजाइश नहीं है कि हम अपार बहुमत से दोनों जगह सरकार बनाएंगे।
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने एक नारा दिया था, एक है तो सेफ है, लगता है जनता एक हो गई है।
पूरा
Moving on now, we are joined by the editor of Lok Satta, Girish Kuber. But before that, let's take a look at where the early trends number stands at in Maharashtra and Jharkhand. So far, like I had mentioned, the Mahayuti alliance was leading, and so far they are leading in 140 seats party-wise in the Mahayuti 140 leads as compared to the MVA leads at 130. We have BJP at 93 seats, Congress at 49 seats, Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena at 40 seats, and of course Ajit Pawar's NCP leading in 25 seats, and Sharad Pawar's NCP SP leading in 46 seats. So we have Girish Kuber with us.
Hello.
Hello Girish.
Good morning.
Good morning. What are your first thoughts on the so-called early trends, however early they are?
It is quite sensational. It was always expected that Mahayuti will do better, it will have an edge, but kind of trends it is showing, it looks like if they continue, BJP's performance will be better than what was it in 2019. So that it must have stunned the BJP itself, because it wasn't the number it was looking at.
Absolutely. Girish, how much do you think Maharashtra has worried the BJP from April, May, June Lok Sabha polls to up until now in November?
See, there were two states, those where we went against the BJP. One was Uttar Pradesh and second was Maharashtra in a big way. Uttar Pradesh stands number one because it sends 80 MPs and followed by Maharashtra, which is 48. So BJP was extremely worried. So typical of the BJP, just after the parliamentary election, it started working on assembly election. It had entire machinery on the ground, and especially the mobilization of OBCs against the factor of Maratha, which went against, which really damaged the BJP in parliamentary election. So the strategy-wise, BJP had two-pronged strategy, we can say. On the front, it tried to communalize with "Batenge to Katenge" kind of a argument, slogan, and on the back, on the rear side, it had this caste combination working for the party, and that seems to be going right for the Saffron Alliance.
Absolutely. Girish, why do you think this is a Maharashtra versus Maharashtra election?
Because the kind of parties we have in the recent past, the breakups, the defections, so two Rashtravaadis, two Shiv Sena, then there are faction of Shiv Sena, the Manase, that is MNS. So it was classical divide and rule, if we use the term, because Maharashtra has always accused Delhi of divide and rule, and that's what they did right from the days of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. It's been the case. I mean, Chhatrapati Shivaji had to fight almost important all of his wars against this local or regional satraps, in those days. So similarly, Maharashtra election was it was never Congress versus the BJP. The BJP, the way it engineered defections and the way it organized this kind of slicing of parties, so it eventually became Maharashtra versus Maharashtra in Maharashtra, and the game is working for the BJP.
Absolutely. You have at length written about how the BJP has managed to infuriate both the OBCs and Marathas. Can you tell us more about that, please?
Yeah, that was still the parliamentary election, because BJP traditionally has a very, very strong base in the OBCs, among the OBCs, something like 33% OBCs Maharashtra, 70-80% are with the BJP. And this parliament election, what happened? Marathas went against the BJP. There was a fast and agitation for Maratha reservations. That's a story everybody knows. And why it happened so? In 2019, just ahead of parliamentary election, Devendra Fadnavis, Chief Minister, then announced Maratha reservation, and which he couldn't fulfill because of various reasons. Soon after that was the Maha Vikas Aghadi government, which failed in presenting its case in the Supreme Court. But the reality is that it failed in getting reservations, Maratha reservation back on track, and that angered Maratha communities, and which eventually went against the BJP, and BJP faced a severe setback in parliament election. But BJP historically has always been, in the recent past at least, it's very nimble-footed. It takes cues very fast, and it put corrective mechanism in action. It tried to organize OBCs, and BJP obviously was emboldened because of what happened in Haryana. Haryana, it successfully thwarted the polarization against itself. So the similar model it tried to adopt in Maharashtra. There were as many as 333 small meetings amongst all across OBC factions, and that seems to have had its effect for the BJP. And BJP successfully, if the trends continue, we can safely say BJP successfully neutralized Maratha anger by bringing in OBC fold to back it. So this is the caste combination. So BJP has communal, in a way, communalized the agenda by "Batenge to Katenge" slogan. But at the same time, it also minutely, microscopically, and at macro level, it managed the caste combination also. So this is the strategy BJP adopted after learning a few lessons in parliamentary election, and of course after Haryana success it tasted in recent past.
Absolutely. Girish, how does social engineering apply in Maharashtra, given that there are so many, families that are into politics, then there are various regions, and the issues affecting these regions vary from cotton to quota. So how do you see social engineering being applied here?
This is actually the social engineering in motion, the way BJP deployed its strategy. There are two major social groups in Maharashtra. One is Marathas, which traditionally are Congress NCP supporters. Others is the OBC, and the percentage is roughly the same, 33%, 32% either side. So to counter Maratha force, BJP started working on OBCs since 1980s. It devised a formula called Madhav. Madhav is an abbreviation, we can call it like Madhav, Mamari, Dhangaris and Vanzari. So these are three strong OBC local communities in Maharashtra. So it cobbled an alliance of OBCs. So that's why you see rise of OBCs across the nation in BJP, right from Kalyan Singh to Modi to Sadhvi Uma Bharati and kind of stuff, So the BJP had a slew of OBC leaders across the nation, and that was part of the strategy to win over OBCs vis-a-vis strong communities. And there was another social group to help Congress along with the Marathas. That were Muslims and Dalits. So they call it the DMK, Dalit, Muslim and Kunbi. Kunbi is another small faction in Maharashtra. So to counter that, to neutralize that, so BJP had this combination. So it had upper caste, it had Baniyas, it had part of Kshatriya, that is Marathas. It tried to win over with a few of Maratha leaders, and a large chunk of OBCs. So that seems to be winning combination for the BJP. So looking at the trend now, it looks like BJP has outsmarted Congress and NCP in this social engineering.
Correct. You have also written specifically about the Dhangars, that is the shepherd community. What has their role been in this social engineering and in the social game?
See, recently Dhangars also have been announced, have been promised kind of a reservation, but that is yet to come into force. So Dhangars are a bit agitated, and there is another side story to that. Because of Dhangars getting reservation in that particular category, tribals were upset because they thought their pie will be further divided. Similarly was with the OBC. So BJP and the ruling alliance made a statement about Dhangars getting reservation, but it didn't implement it. So simultaneously BJP tried to woo tribals, especially in Vidarbha, by promising few of measures, from financial assistance to corporation for Adivasi development and that sort of things, So that was like a perfect drawing room of planning for the BJP. Each and every community was considered, and there was a strategy, there was a plan to win over them, and vis-a-vis the overall anger which opposition tried to encash, but which eventually doesn't seem to be working in their favor.
Correct. One of your articles also mentions that the Maharashtra government has formed as many as 17 cooperatives for various communities, be it the fisher folk or goldsmiths, even Jains for that matter. How does the government plan on sustaining 17 of them?
Government has no plan, honestly speaking, on sustaining even the Ladki Bahina also, because it will have something like 90,000 crore plus burden on the state exchequer, which is already facing a 1 lakh crore deficit. But in this atmosphere, what matters is just only winning, and that's what every political party plans. So to counter Ladki Bahina's 1,500 The opposition announced 3,000 rupees. So this is all about ego massaging. There is nothing more than that. So there were 17 corporations; those were announced, but none of them has been given any allocation. There is no financial allocation for any of those, but just an ego massaging. But in an era of where ego massaging, religious pampering works, and winner takes it everything with him. So this is what it is, and if it that's be it. So we have to accept this reality.
Right. Girish, speaking about social engineering, how differently does social engineering work in urban as compared to rural areas?
See, urban areas, the issues are different. The job losses, or rather joblessness, that is one. But in urban areas also, BJP applied the communal part of it. The social engineering was not meant for cities. But in any case, cities normally are pro-BJP. The financially settled class always loves to come out in support of Hindutva. But that's national trend. So the social engineering actually was meant for the rural areas where BJP was facing severe backlash because of crop issues also. So that's why it had a two-way strategy, one for the cities and one for the urban areas and one for the rural areas. Rural areas, it had social combination. For urban areas, it has religion. And that is how the parties plan. But what looks like very interesting is that the opposition's failure in encashing the anger, and the reason mainly being the very late start, too much of division, failing to come to agree on seat sharing, rather delayed talks on seat sharing, and the feud coming out in the open between Congress and the Shiv Sena. So actually now focus should also be what didn't work for the opposition, and that seems quite a big lesson for the anti-BJP forces in the country.
Correct. No narrative about the BJP is complete, especially in Maharashtra, without speaking of the RSS. How wholeheartedly or half-heartedly do you think RSS is supporting BJP currently in Maharashtra?
That's the most valid point you raised. This is, if it is of 1 to 100, if I'm asked to give the score, I will have more than 90 plus for the RSS. It is the RSS's success which tied over the communal and caste related issues. It was out in full force to support the BJP, no matter what the BJP president JP Nadda said a few months back that we don't need RSS. That was not the case. They realized it in Haryana. They learned lessons very quickly, and RSS was out in the open for each and every constituency. They had a strategy for bringing out their voters, their supporters to the polling booth, and the credit should go to RSS much more than what BJP deserves.
Right. Once upon a time, Maharashtra's political caste, the class displayed social, political and economic ingenuity. And you have said a lot of times that now it's just a mere copycat. Why do you say so?
Yeah, because none of the scheme announced by the incumbent ahead of election, it's originally state planned. It's all copy of something or the other. Say for example, the Ladki Bahina. It's exactly copy paste from Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh, Yuvraj Singh Chauhan managed with this scheme, and the same thing was copied here. And the funnily thing is that BJP and especially the ruling alliance accused Jharkhand chief minister of copying Maharashtra scheme, whereas Maharashtra itself has copied something from Madhya Pradesh. So every scheme of thing, but this is something Maharashtra should be, the voters in Maharashtra, especially the literate ones, should be ashamed of. This copy is something which won't make Maharashtra proud. This is all about just only winning and winning, nothing else. So we will do anything, no matter at what cost, but we will impose, we will bring in, we will have the schemes copy from other states, and at the end of the day, what matters is the victory, and then we have won. So there is no harm in copying, and that's the sad message that the election sends out.
One last comment on Sharad Pawar and his politics of inclusion.
That this is something, this election was extremely important for two leaders. One is Uddhav Thackeray, another is Sharad Pawar. And my feeling is that whichever faction of the Rashtrabadi or Shiv Sena is not in the power will face further defections. So for Pawar, it mattered a lot. The man at the age, whatever it is, 84, addressed something like 100 rallies. This is something, and the kind of health challenges he faced few years back. So for the Maratha strongman, it was extremely important. But also, one has to understand, Pawar being chief minister for 4 terms in Maharashtra, he never thought of bringing in Maratha reservation because it's going to complicate the state's social structure. You can't, unless you raise the limit to 90% or something like that. It's very ambitious to think that no reservation is going to work, because Marathas want reservation from BC category, which already it's repleted with so many communities there, so many small groups there. So over and above that, if 30% chunk of Marathas get into this OBC, so Pawar was wise in managing his social structure. But if the current trend shows, if the failure is as large as it is, it's looking, it will be existential crisis for the Rashtrabadi faction he is leading.
Right, that was Girish Kuber, the editor of Lok Satta. And let's take a look at Priyanka Gandhi's journey so far in Wayanad. She's been leading in the Wayanad by-poll by 56,000 votes against her competitor of CPI, Satyan Mukherjee.
Vote counting has begun for the by-elections in Kerala's Wayanad Lok Sabha seat and the Palakkad and Chelakara assembly seats. The counting started with postal ballots as attention turns to Congress-led UDF candidate Priyanka Gandhi Vadra making her electoral debut. Priyanka faces strong competition from CPIM-led LDF's Satyan Mukherjee and BJP-led NDA's Navya Haridas. After an hour of counting, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is leading by over 35,000 votes in the Wayanad Lok Sabha by-election. The seat previously held by her brother Rahul Gandhi holds immense symbolic and political importance for the Congress. Although the by-elections won't directly impact state governance, the results are a critical litmus test for the Congress and the broader India bloc. The Congress is under pressure to prove its relevance after recent struggles in Haryana. Priyanka's campaign focused on key issues including farmers' challenges, rehabilitation of landslide victims, broader national concerns like unemployment and inflation. The outcome will signal whether Congress can regain lost ground in key constituencies ahead of the general elections. This election is a pivotal movement for Priyanka Gandhi's political career. Her grassroots strategy and focus on personal connection have been central to her campaign. A strong performance could solidify her standing within the party. A poor result may raise questions about her political viability. With the Wayanad seat carrying Rahul Gandhi's legacy, the stakes are particularly high for both Priyanka and the Congress. For more updates, keep watching the Indian Express.
So far, our update based on the early trends says that the BJP has crossed the 100 mark and Mahayuti has past the majority mark. So far, I'll give you a bit of updates. For all the live updates, you can also join the official website of the Indian Express, that is the indianexpress.com. In the ongoing counting process in the Mulund Assembly constituency, BJP's Mihir Kotecha is holding a commanding lead of 20,700 votes after fifth round of counting. Kotecha has managed to outpace his rivals, reinforcing BJP's strong position in this Mumbai suburb. Similarly, in Kolaba, BJP's Rahul Narvekar is leading with an impressive margin of 11,720 votes. CPIM's sole MLA in the state, Vinod Nicol, is currently trailing by 1,587 votes in the Dahanu constituency after 2 rounds of voting. After the third round of counting, Varun Sardesai of Uddhav Thackeray's Shiv Sena is leading in Mumbai's Bandra East constituency with 9,338 votes, ahead of the incumbent MLA Zishan Siddiqui from Ajit Pawar's NCP. And Zishan so far has amassed around 5,499 votes. Similarly, Tripti Sawant of MNS has follows with 3,973 votes. Sardesai's lead has grown to 3,839 votes, indicating a strong performance as the counting progresses. As of 10 p.m. As of 10 a.m. this morning, BJP crossed the critical 100-seat mark in the early trends. In Thane city, BJP's Sanjay Kelkar is dominating with 14,993 votes, followed by Rajan Vichare of Shiv Sena UBT at 4,959 votes and Avinash Jadhav of MNS at 4,010 votes. In Kurla, Mangesh Kudalkar of Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena leads against Pavina Murajkar of Uddhav Thackeray's Shiv Sena. Meanwhile, in Kalyan East, Sulabha Gaikwad leads the first round with 3,301 votes, while Mahesh Gaikwad trails at 2,713 votes. And the BJP's momentum looks like going strong so far. We are joined once again by Abhishek Angad from Jharkhand. Abhishek, any new numbers for us?
Yeah, so the early trends as of like 10:41, the ECI's website is saying that India is leading in 30 plus 13, that is 43 and 5, 48. India is leading in 49 seats, and the BJP-led NDA is leading in 29 seats. So if this trend continues, then it's a bit of a worry for the Saffron Party because earlier, the very early trend of the postal ballots, we saw that the BJP had a lead, but as of now, we are seeing that India is clearly leading, and a lot of other seats, for example, Saraikela, where former Chief Minister Hemant Soren was slated that he would get a very easy win, is not leading from that area as of now. Mr. Hemant Soren from Jharkhand Mukti Morcha is the Chief Minister, is leading from his seat, and he is leading by a margin of 4,921 votes. If we talk about some other seats where it seems that, so Bokaro seat, which has been traditionally with the BJP, we see that the INC's Shweta Singh is leading from that area with a margin of more than 10,000 votes. So remember, these are urban centers which are traditionally BJP's vote bank. From here, we see that. And very interesting also coming in picture is basically Chandan Kyari seat. So Chandan Kyari seat is the incumbent is the BJP's leader of opposition, Amar Kumar Bauri. And interestingly, Amar Kumar Bauri is trailing by a margin of 9,928 votes. And the second position is, as I was telling earlier, that it will matter how JLKM performs is seen in how it does in the coal belt area, and this is what is happening. Arun Rajwar of JLKM has so far polled 19,539 votes. So if Chandan Kyari, the JMM is still ahead by 3,700 votes around, but the second number is JLKM, and Amar Kumar Bawri is the third. So it seems that as of now, JLKM has cut votes of the traditional BJP seat Chandan Kyari. So these are some of the interesting trends that are coming forward. Of course, Jharkhand first Chief Minister Babulal Marandi is also leading from the seat called Dhanwar, and by 5,000 votes as of now. And very interesting is the contest in Dumri, from where Jairam Mehto, the founder of JLKM, is also contesting, but he's trailing by 3,315 votes as of now. And Bevi Devi of Jharkhand. So there's another tiger here. Okay, so there are multiple tigers, as Liz has mentioned earlier. So there's this tiger of Kolhan, who is Champai Soren. Then this Jairam Kumar Mehto, he also has got a moniker tiger. But Bevi Devi's late husband, he's also got a moniker tiger, Jagannath Mehto. So Baby Devi is leading from Dumri as of now. These are some of the very close contests that we are going to see. Champai Soren's son, Babulal Soren, who's contesting from BJP from Ghatsila, is trailing by 4,109 votes as of now. And it would be interesting to see that how it will be interesting to see how Geeta Koda is performing in Jagannathpur. So very interesting figures are out. Sonaram Kisku of Indian National Congress is ahead of Geeta Koda by 4,982 votes so far.
Right, Abhishek, I want to talk more about Jairam Mahato. How big of an X factor is this 29-year-old tiger, like you said? He is the founder and chief of Jharkhand Loktantrik Krantikari Morcha, that is the JLKM, and this is the party's and Mahato's poll debut in 71 seats. So what is the X factor in this 29-year-old tiger?
Yeah, so I'll just go back to like 6 months back when he had contested from Giridih seat, Giridih Lok Sabha election. Single-handedly, he made the contest, triangular contest in Giridih. He polled, as a debutant, he polled 3.5 lakh votes from Giridih. And he was just 20,000 votes behind of the second candidate, and the first one was of 70,000 odd. So that's what he did in Lok Sabha. And now coming to the Vidhan Sabha vote, of course, he has a very charismatic figure in a sense that he has 2 years ago he was just into he was used to play football, go to Dhanbad, and he used to study. He's pursuing PhD in comparative literature as of now. And when he spoke to me, he said that I was nowhere in this entire protest and entire political scenario. But what happened was, he had this anger always coming in because most of the people that he felt were displaced from his community never got their due. And Jharkhand, as of now, unemployment is a major problem in Jharkhand, and the youth is basically rallying behind him, and that's the reason that we see that in earlier copies that also have written, it's very clear that whether or not he wins seat, but he will be a factor in this election, and that's what is happening. All his candidates, whoever it is, and in some of the in some 17 or 18 seats, are increasingly becoming a factor, because now I'm seeing, because if we talk about the Chandan Kyari seat, the incumbent BJP MLA is number 3rd, because the number 2 is JLKM candidate and he's polled more number of votes than the 3rd number, and giving an edge to the JMM. So it can happen that Jairam Mahato loses the entire he's contesting from 2 seats, Bermo and as well as Dumri. It can happen that he loses both the seats, but his candidates will become a factor in most of the constituencies. Yes.
Talking so far about family politics in Maharashtra, almost every district has either one or two families, that are heavily involved in the local politics there. But in Jharkhand also, this is like a litmus test for 4 ex-CMs and their kin. You have Madhu Koda's wife and ex-MP Geeta Koda from Jagannathpur. You have Arjun Munda's wife Meera from Potka. Then there is Champai Soren from Saraikela, and then again his son Babulal Soren from Ghatsila. And of course, ex-CM and the current governor of Odisha, Raghubar Das's daughter-in-law, Purnima Sahu, in Jamshedpur East. So, how over the years have you seen the family politics evolve in Jharkhand?
So, here what we see is that most of the politicians that are contesting today, almost half of them would have been in some sort of party that they earlier contested are in the opposition as of now. So if BJP is contesting with 68 number of contestants, around 35 would have been turncoats in some way. So one is the turncoat angle, that almost all of the party, majority of the players would be turncoats because some or the other they had contested in some other. Yeah, that's one. Number two, yes. So the family politics is very important because here, if we talk about the evolution of how political parties has been seen, so the symbol of the JMM, which is bow and arrow, people recognize that by the symbol. So there's some anecdotes that I listened and I heard before in the reporting areas in Saraikela. What I was listening to was Saraikela, they wanted to vote for Champai, but some of the communities, they went and they said, yes, we voted for Champai, and his symbol was bow and arrow. So he's saying,
right.
So we voted for bow and arrow, but his symbol was lotus, right? So in their mind, bow and arrow is basically resonating with them. So yeah, it's very synonymous to we talk about how Raghubar Das's daughter-in-law is standing there and contesting. We talk about how Champai Soren is contesting. We talk about now how. So this is also the Jairam Mehta's pitch in a setting that everybody's relative who is ever contesting from most of the seats. So where does the common man go, and how does they enter into politics, and how does they make their voices heard in front of them? So this is a bit of a problem also here in Jharkhand.
What will be your comments on BJP using Bangladeshi infiltration as a political plank heavily throughout this election campaign?
Yeah, so going by the trends now, if this trend sticks, which is India is around 50 and BJP is around 29-30, but BJP is the NDA. If the result is sort of similar, it's clear that people have not liked that idea of infiltration, especially the tribal communities. We need to check seat by seat basis. So let's say if there are 28 seats and BJP has been able to make some gain in the tribal seats, last time they won 2, let's say they are able to gain 2 to 5. So then also it's very clear that the tribals have rejected the idea of the infiltration angle because clearly it didn't matter in most of the divisions. You know, Jharkhand has 5 divisions: Kolhan division, North Chota Nagpur, South Chota Nagpur, Palamu, and Santhal Pargana. So in Santhal Pargana, very interesting, when I went for reporting and I talked to a lot of people, they are saying that, यहाँ पर तो नहीं है infiltration, हो सकता है थोड़ा आगे होगा. Then I went more further, and then they are saying यहाँ पर तो नहीं. The reason that they're saying that it's not here because they know the community, they know the people who have been staying there along with them. So they know that their neighbors or their neighbors' neighbors are not who are infiltrators. So there they are saying that it's not here. It may happen, let's say 10 kilometers down the line. So if this is the scenario, and if BJP doesn't cross lot of in lot of other seats as well, it's clear that people have rejected their entire idea of infiltration and angle.
Take a sidebar and ask you about the entire controversy that Hemanta Biswa Sarma's comments, sort of raked up in Jharkhand. Do you think that has had any sliver of impact on the electorate?
No, so that's what Himanta Biswa Sarma had vowed. He took that leaf out of his Assam playbook, right? And he thought that he will use the same thing in Jharkhand. But interestingly, in Jharkhand, it's not an issue because borders are not with Bangladesh. That's number one, and not many people are affected, barring one district, which is Pakur, where people are being seen and being talked that okay, some people would have come from West Bengal and they might have settled there, who he is touting as infiltrators. Now, the problem is that the Ministry of Home Affairs, they filed an affidavit saying that, look, it had happened, it did happen, but it didn't say that as of now if infiltration is happening. So Ministry of Home Affairs is also not, is in consonance with what Mr. Himanta is saying, and clearly it was done for political benefits. And in July I wrote an article on what Mr. Himanta's strategy is, and it actually played out exactly like that. Mr. Himanta said that he wants 10 tribal seats to be won by BJP. That's number one. Number two is that he will polarize the issue of Bangladeshis and infiltration and how they are usurping the land and the jobs for a lot of people, and how they are marrying the tribal women. So this is also very interesting. When I went to Santhal Pragna and when I spoke to some of the women who had married, they clearly said that the BJP do not need to see what is happening in somebody else's house. And here clearly, as if it's not as if the Santhal women are just standing to, getting married to the infiltrators, whatever the claim is. So even in the Adivasi community who had actually married in some different community, they were very, very angry and pissed off about this BJP's narrative. So I'm assuming also that BJP's narrative was just not about to polarize tribal electorate, it was also to polarize non-tribals. So here what we see is, if in urban areas people would have voted for BJP, then also we could have said that in urban areas or non-tribal areas, BJP is able to, sort of gain that confidence of a lot of electorate, and the scare is working. But I don't think so that if this trend continues, then people have rejected the entire infiltration idea or the plank of the BJP.
Abhishek, a lot of Jharkhand campaign messaging has focused on acts or policies, rather, let's say. There was a Santhal Pargana Tennessee Act 1949, then there was a PESA Act, then there was a Sarna Religious Code, and then there was the Domicile Bill. Who do you think has got the messaging for these acts right?
No, so clearly it's the trend that we are seeing right now, and if it sticks by the next 2 or 3 hours, then clearly JMM and Congress has got the messaging right, because BJP predominantly focus on infiltration. All the major speeches, when Yogi Adityanath came, he made that remark of "Katenge to batenge." When Mr. Modi came, or Mr. Home Minister used to come, majority of the speeches of PM Modi or Home Minister used to be around how infiltration has happened and how this has percolated down to the system, the government of the JMM and Congress. And they used to take names of Irfan Ansari, MLA Irfan Ansari, and the jailed Congress leader Alamgir Alam, and saying that these people have sort of given refuge to a lot of infiltrators, and we need to throw them away. So BJP predominantly stuck to this idea of infiltration. Sometimes they used to bring the issue of jobs, that's number one, and sometimes the deaths that have happened during a job, during one of the meetings, during one of the recruitment processes. And of course, that if there's a lot of poverty and how JMM and people are very corrupt and money has been sort of captured or seized from the premises of a lot of Congress leaders or the JMM. So that sort of thing was there. It was JMM who went to the people and sometimes also said they also attacked Modi, but the messaging was also there. Look, 1932 bill have been passed by us. It has been sent to center to include it in the 10th schedule. Look, we want to give you reservation. So Jharkhand is the, I think, one of the few states, only state where OBC don't have reservation of to the tune of 27%. Here it is 14%. They also, passed a bill where they increased the percentage of reservation, and they sent it to the center saying that, you should include it in the 10th schedule. So JMM had politically made very, very astute choices right before the thing could become a controversy, because 1932 is a very sensitive issue here in Jharkhand. Even Jairam Mahto was saying the same thing, that we need to domicile policy based on 1932 year-based land records. So JMM somehow, I think, that managed to see and percolate the idea of how the policies or the things that have been there and they have done and their work, and they want to work in the manifesto. In the JMM's manifesto, is clearly they mentioned that how the 1932 and the reservation thing, they'll again reassert to the center and ask them to clear it. And that's the first thing that they have said. But out of everything, I think it seems that their welfare policy of giving 1,000 rupees to the women of Jharkhand and waiving of the power dues, because when I went to a lot of villages, they said clearly, they mentioned how somebody had 20,000 of power dues and they did not get electricity for the next 4-5 months, how that was restored and how their power bills were waived off. So that's something I think is seems to be resonating if this trend continues.
Absolutely. Can you tell us what exactly is a coal royalty row?
Okay, so basically what they are saying is they're asking for 1.36 lakh rupees crore, 1.36 lakh crore rupees from the center. Some sources that I have asked, they're saying numbers may be inflated, but the demand is genuine. How genuine is, that's number one. What they want to do is, first, the land that the major central companies, the PUCOs, Central Coalfields Limited, or the BCCL, or the companies acquired in Jharkhand. So the land acquisition that had happened, Jharkhand was not paid the monies. That's number one, and that's the majority of the amount that Jharkhand is asking. Number two is, when you from a coal mine, when you dig up the coal and extract the coal, and when you ferry it from one vehicle to another, you don't ferry it with the dust, because that would be ferrying a lot of amount of coal and not getting quality product. Then what do is you wash it. It's called washed coal. Now Jharkhand is saying, look, you have to give us royalty on washed coal, not on the dust coal. So, but what is happening is the majority of the companies have been giving them royalties on the dust coal, which is very less than, because they've been taking out the washed coal. So these are the two major concerns of Jharkhand, which is saying, if we get the money back, we can use it for a lot of welfare related schemes in Jharkhand.
Correct. I also want to ask you, because it was mentioned in one of your articles and it has sort of played a key role. Why does Jharkhand have its own housing scheme? And how does that pan out in the local politics and in the assembly election campaigning?
Yeah, so whenever Hemant Soren used to go to any electorate, apart from that old political barbon and taking on the BJP government, he used to list out things that his government has done. And one of the things that it used to come is, हम लोगों ने आपको अबुआ आवास दिया. Now this stems from the fact that how does PM Awas is given to a lot of people. It is based on the socio-economic caste census, which is not very publicly available, but through that the schemes is being distributed to the people in India. Now the housing scheme was supposed to be given to additional 8 lakh people in Jharkhand, saying that but the BJP-led center somehow said to the people that no, these are not the ones that needs it. But the Jharkhand government asserted and reasserted and again reasserted, saying that look, the 8 lakh beneficiaries, you are leaving them out. It's not good. You have to give it to them. So when that did not happen, they sort of came out with their own scheme, saying that the BJP-led government or the PM Awas gives you X amount, from which you can construct 1 and 1.5 rooms, but we'll give you where from which you can construct, you can build like 3 rooms houses, but it is a factor. This is a factor people are relating to it, but this is not this. If the JMM and Congress wins, which looks to be happening right now, this is not the scheme that people would be very much relying on, because it also has a sort of bureaucracy angle to it, where a lot of corruption also percolated, and if this scheme would have only the major election plank of the JMM would not have gotten this much lead as of now. It was only and only because of Madhya Samman and the pension and the power waiver dues that there's all a welfare scheme that they have done. So yeah, it is an important scheme and people will be benefited from the Abu Awas. But of course, it's lower down the hierarchy of the seats, number of schemes, the kind of schemes that people like in Jharkhand.
Absolutely. We have been speaking about the point of Bangladeshi infiltrators and how, BJP has used it as a main political plank in campaigning. But the BJP is also raking up the conversion of tribal issue. Can you enlighten us about that?
Yeah, so when MHA filed an affidavit, they gave an answer to how the BJP why the BJP is picking up this issue. And that was predominantly why, because the population of tribal share vis-a-vis the general population, non-tribal population, is decreasing. Now, there's no rocket science in it. If a lot of other people would come to a place, and even if the tribal population is increasing, but if the other people has come down and to that particular area, then the tribal population shares will anyway decrease. So, but BJP was presenting it in a manner that tribal का population कम हो रहा है. Tribal का population कम नहीं हो रहा था. Tribal का population का share with vis-a-vis the general population, that was decreasing because the general population was increasing. So one reason that the MHA is also seeing could be the religious conversion. That is, a lot of Adivasis been converted to Adivasi Christians. So this goes back to, hundred of years, because at least 1855, the first Hull rebellion happened, the first war of independence, which is largely ignored by mainstream historians. And then when we come to Birsa Munda, the tribal icon of Jharkhand, in the 1890s and 80s, from there has been certain resentment against Christian tribals because a lot of missionaries had come in and they had sole single agenda of converting a lot of people to their community. It still happens, but we need to understand that initially in the last
right.
Yeah.
So the tribal vote is super crucial, and the South Chota Nagpur plateau with its 15 seats, and there are a total of 28 tribal seats that I mentioned that in 2019 BJP had won just 2 of them, and the JMM and Congress alliance clinched 25 of them and went on to form the government in the state. Let's take a look at where we are headed to next. We'll shortly be joined once again by Abhishek Angad and one of the senior journalists at the Indian Express, Vikas Pathak.
Counting progresses for the Maharashtra and Jharkhand Assembly elections 2024, political leaders weigh in with strong statements. Meanwhile, early trends are in, and the BJP-led National Democratic Alliance is leading in both Maharashtra and Jharkhand, while the NDA is looking to retain Maharashtra and wrest power in Jharkhand. The India bloc will aim at pulling off an upset by defeating the Mahayuti alliance in Maharashtra while securing a victory for Hemant Soren in Jharkhand. Here is what the leaders are saying.
क्या लगता है आपको?
ये शुरुआती रुझान ही अंतिम रुझान के रूप में आपको देखने का अवसर मिलेगा। झारखंड की 4 करोड़ 21 लाख जनता की आकांक्षा आज वो अभिव्यक्ति के रूप में सामने लोगों के दिख रहा है, क्योंकि वहाँ पर जो शासन था वो कुशासन था। वहाँ पर जिस प्रकार से नौजवानों के आत्मा में प्रहार करने का काम हेमंत सोरेन की सरकार ने किया था, महिलाओं के साथ सबसे ज़्यादा अनाचार की घटना वहाँ घटी थी, और जिस प्रकार से बांग्लादेशी घुसपैठी वहाँ पर आकर के तांडव मचा।
गड़बड़ तो है, क्या है मतलब अभी ईवीएम में गड़बड़ है? अरे भाई ठहरो, फंडिंग हुआ है, पूरे नतीजे आने तो हम बाद में बात करेंगे ना, क्यों नहीं करेंगे? पैसा तो ऐसा है कि हर चुनाव क्षेत्र में नोटों की मशीन लगाई थी। अरे शिंदे का एक भी उम्मीदवार सिटिंग एमएलए गिरता नहीं, और शिंदे ये बोल रहे थे हमारा एक भी सिटिंग विधायक गिरेगा नहीं। आपको मालूम होगा तो मैं इस्तीफा दूंगा। ऐसा होता है क्या चुनाव में कभी? हमारा एक भी नहीं गिरेगा। ये कौन सा भरोसा है? ये कौन सा लोकतंत्र है? 200 के ऊपर किसी को चुनाव में नतीजे मिलते हैं क्या? जिस देश में, जिस राज्य में सबसे बड़ी बेईमानी हो गई है, इस राज्य की जनता बेईमान नहीं है। ये नतीजे ऐसे दिए आपने कि अपने राज्य को, जनता को बेईमान ठहराया है। इस राज्य की जनता बेईमान नहीं है।
जो नतीजे आ रहे वो महाविकास आघाड़ी को कबूल है
नहीं।
तो आगे की क्या भूमिका रहेगी?
नतीजे कबूल नहीं है, मैं मानता हूं जनता को भी नतीजे कबूल नहीं है। जनता को भी ये जनता का निर्णय नहीं हो सकता है। मैं बार बार बोल रहा हूं, और मुझे बार बार आप वही सवाल पूछ रहे हैं।
लेकिन जो महाविकास आघाड़ी के कुल आंकड़े दिखाई दे रहे हैं, कुल संख्या दिखाई दे रहे हैं, उससे ज्यादा शिंदे गुट के
कैसा हो सकता है? आप अपने मन को पूछे, आप पत्रकार है, आप अपने मन को पूछे क्या महाराष्ट्र में संभव है? आप अपने मन को पूछे कि महाराष्ट्र में शिंदे को 60 सीटें मिलती है, संभव है क्या? ये अजीत पवार को 40 सीटें मिलती है, क्या ये संभव है? भारतीय जनता पार्टी को 125 सीटें मिलती है, क्या संभव है? क्या इस राज्य की जनता भी बेईमान है? इस राज्य की जनता बेईमान नहीं है, इसके ऊपर हमारा विश्वास है। चलिए, थैंक यू।
उससे जनता त्रस्त है, पस्त है, और इसीलिए इस कुशासन के खिलाफ ये जनता की अभिव्यक्ति है। मैं पूरे चुनाव के दौरान जगह जगह पर घूमने का काम किया हूं, और ऐसा महसूस किया हूं कि जब मोदी जी और भारत सरकार के गृह मंत्री सम्मानित अमित शाह जी का जब दौरा होता था, उनके कार्यक्रम होते थे, तो जिस प्रकार से जनता उमड़ करके आती थी और उनके भाषणों के माध्यम से एक नया जोश का संचार करने का काम करती थी, और आज वो देखने का अवसर मिल रहा है। ईवीएम में सिर्फ कमल फूल और एनडीए गठबंधन के लोग चुनाव जीतने का काम करेंगे।
महाराष्ट्र में आपको वहां आगे चल रही है?
महाराष्ट्र में भी महायुति की सरकार बनेगी, इसमें कोई शक नहीं।
जी, काउंटिंग बूथ पे आप हैं, जीत के प्रति कितना आश्वस्त है?
देखिए, यहाँ हार और जीत की बात नहीं है, बात है कि जनता की हम सेवा कर रहे हैं, और जनता की सेवा कर रहे हैं, और जनता ने यहाँ हमें अपना जो है मजबूत जो है मत दिया है, और मैं पूरा उम्मीद करता हूँ कि यहाँ जो है, जो लोकतंत्र की परिभाषा है जनता का, जनता के लिए, जनता के द्वारा शासन, वही शासन सुनिश्चित होगा, और वही शासन के लिए जनता ने अपना मताधिकार का प्रयोग किया है। और निश्चित तौर पर हेमंत सोरेन जी के नेतृत्व में आदरणीय सोनिया गांधी, राहुल गांधी जी, मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे साहब, मीर साहब के आशीर्वाद से यहाँ इंडिया गठबंधन की मजबूत सरकार बनेगी।
जितना ओपिनियन पोल आया है उसमें क्या लगता है, विश्वास कर रहे हैं आप?
मैं इसे व्यक्तिगत तौर पर इसे भ्रामक दुष्प्रचार मानता हूं, और ये मैं मानता हूं कि ये एक सोची समझी साजिश के तहत इस तरह का भ्रामक प्रचार किया जाता है, और इसके पीछे कई कारण हो सकते हैं। हो सकता है कि ईवीएम के साथ छेड़छाड़ का भी कारण हो सकता है, या और भी कोई हिडन कारण हो सकते हैं। लेकिन मैं इसे मानता हूँ ये मिथ्या प्रचार है और ये एक सुनियोजित साजिश होती है।
कल रात 2:45 से 3:45 तक यहाँ का जो प्रत्याशियों के लिए जो लगा हुआ था सीसीटीवी कैमरा और मॉनिटर, वो सारा ऑफ हो गया लगभग 20-25।
मैं इसे गंभीर विषय मानता हूँ और भगवान न करे कि ये कोई साजिश हो, लेकिन यदि ये साजिश है तो ये निश्चित तौर पर ये चुनाव आयोग के विश्वसनीयता पर एक बड़ा सवाल खड़ा करती है। चूंकि अचानक सीसीटीवी का 45 मिनट तक बंद हो जाना ये अपने आप में एक बड़ा गहरा और गंभीर संदेह व्यक्त करता है और मुझे लगता है कि इस तरह की चीजों पर जिला प्रशासन को भी और चुनाव आयोग को भी कड़ा संज्ञान लेना चाहिए।
See, not only the counting has started in Jharkhand, but a new era is also starting. The end of the Soren rule, misrule, or rather I should say, of corruption is going to end. And the postal ballot counting is on, so we expect the first trains to come in an hour. But we are very, very hopeful, you know. Like you can see, it's a bright morning. And it is going to usher in some more brightness as the day progresses for BJP and for the people of Jharkhand at large. Hemant Soren is on his way out and we are going to come back with a thumping majority.
देखिए, निश्चित रूप से महाराष्ट्र में पूर्ण बहुमत के साथ महायुति की सरकार आ रही है, इसमें कहीं कोई संदेह नहीं है। जिस प्रकार से महाराष्ट्र में विकास की गंगा बही है, तो महाराष्ट्र के मतदाता महायुति के साथ हैं और 175 प्लस महायुति आएगी।
वोटों की तुष्टीकरण का आरोप बीजेपी पे लग रहा है कि कटेंगे बटेंगे जैसे तुष्टीकरण के नारे लेकर आप चुनाव।
यह कोई तुष्टीकरण का विषय नहीं है, यह समाज में जागरूकता का विषय है। क्योंकि जब समाज जागरूक होगा तो निश्चित रूप से जब हिंदू बटा है तो वह हिस्सा देश से कटा है। इसलिए एक है तो सेफ है, यह केवल चुनावी मुद्दा नहीं है, यह एक समाज का मुद्दा है।
चुनाव में वोट बड़ा मुद्दा है जिसमें से आपको नुकसान उठाना पड़ा। इस बार बड़े पैमाने पे हिंदू मतदाता लग रहा है ये परिवर्तन हो रहा है।
देखिए, वह लोग वोट जिहाद किए, वोट जिहाद किस लिए किए? देश को तोड़ने के लिए, देश को संकट में डालने के लिए। और यह धर्म युद्ध चला है, धर्म युद्ध में लोग निकले हैं और मत किए हैं और महायुति की सरकार बनाएंगे।
अगर मान लीजिए एग्जिट पोल के हिसाब से आपके नतीजे आते हैं तो इस बार क्या मोदी की लड्डू बटेंगे या फिर जलेबी?
नहीं, सभी लोग हर्षोल्लास के साथ मिठाइयां बांटेंगे। धन्यवाद।
The big verdict for Maharashtra and Jharkhand assembly elections are underway right now, and the votes are being counted across the states in Maharashtra and Jharkhand. I am joined by one of our senior journalists of Indian Express, Vikas Pathak. Vikas, big lead for the Mahayuti alliance in Maharashtra. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's a very big lead, and I think it's bigger than expected even. So this is almost a sweep, very clearly.
So do you think that Lok Sabha polls were an aberration?
Yeah, in Maharashtra now it seems so, just like it seemed in Haryana.
Absolutely. And how do you think this is going to shape the narrative for the Mahavikas Aghadi coalition now?
Well, all the three parties have not done well in that coalition. So first of all, there are questions now on the longevity of the coalition. That's one question, because it is not showing signs of bringing the gains that coalitions should bring to the parties. Secondly, now it's also a big challenge for both Sharad Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray, because Sharad Pawar is now quite old, and in the Lok Sabha his attempt was to ensure that the Shiv Sena Sharad Pawar is the NCP Sharad Pawar is the real NCP, and somehow Ajit Pawar is someone who split his party and was a betrayer of sorts. That was the whole narrative, and via that Sharad Pawar wanted to keep control and also to ensure the political future of Supriya Sule. This time, Ajit Pawar, it was a do or die battle for him, but he has done pretty well. He's also leading in Baramati. So, now it's not as if the direct Sharad Pawar lineage, his nuclear family, is the one that can claim the NCP legacy. Ajit Pawar has also now earned the right to claim that his NCP is in a way the real NCP. Ditto for Eknath Shinde. Eknath Shinde, while he does not come from the family of Barasaheb Thackeray, in the Lok Sabha it seemed that there was a lot of sympathy for Uddhav, but this time Eknath Shinde is doing pretty well, and the Shiv Sena, it seems, as an entity now. Of course, he had already got the official symbol of the Shiv Sena. Now he also seems to have got the popular legitimacy of the Shiv Sena. So the Shiv Sena is now perhaps an entity that is not necessarily tied to the Thackeray family.
Absolutely. Because we are also joined by Abhishek Angad, our reporter from Jharkhand, Vallabh Uzarkar from Mumbai, and of course Vivek Sundaran from Kerala on Wayanad, because apart from Maharashtra and Jharkhand, there are bypolls that are being counted. But before we move on to them, I also want to ask you, we had Liz and Manoj in the morning earlier today, and I asked them, how do you think that this results of Maharashtra and Jharkhand, how are they going to impact the winter session in the parliament that is going to begin on Monday? Because we know, in light of the Adani issue, the opposition is raring to go. There is also Manipur on the cards. So how do you think in the process the election results?
Well, the winter session is going to be stormy. It was always expected to be stormy. There would be a slight loss of morale for the opposition, but they will not show it visibly in the winter session. I think they will go hammer and tongs on Adani as well as Manipur. But what will happen is that the morale of the treasury benches, the morale of the BJP MPs will be higher after this Maharashtra victory, and that would mean that there would be an impasse. It is unlikely that the government would agree to many of the demands. Like, they've already made the demand for a JPC on the Adani issue, but I don't think the government is going to budge all that easily. So we can perhaps see many adjournments, even a few suspensions. So it's going to be a stormy session, but certainly there'll be a spring in the stride of the BJP and the NDA, because they know that whatever goes wrong in terms of the optics, be it in Manipur or Adani, they know that a significant section of voters in large states like Maharashtra are still with the BJP. So that itself, because eventually in a democracy what counts is whether you can win or not win elections. Other issues which are normative issues, they are talked about, written about in columns, but beyond a point they don't count.
Let's see. With that, we have an update from Wayanad. That is, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is now leading with over 2 lakh votes. And we are joined by Vivek Sundaran from Kerala on this. Hi Vivek, give us updates on Wayanad, please. In the meantime, we can also speak to Abhishek Angad from Jharkhand. Abhishek, do you have any more updates? We have Vikas in the studio with us.
Yeah, so as we were feeling on the ground when we were reporting that there's slight edge to JMM and Congress, but what we were not very sure of that, would it lead to translation of votes, and because BJP was heavily polarizing the issue on infiltration, and it is yet to be seen that the electorates, which is non-tribal electorates, whether or not this has resonated with them. But I'm a little surprised that Bokaro seat, which is an urban seat, and most of the voters are BJP, they tend to vote for BJP. From there, Congress is leading by a very huge margin, and it's like 25,000 votes. The Congress, so Shweta Singh is leading by 25,084 votes. So it's interesting that the infiltration plank has not also resonated in urban areas, apart from the fact that in a lot of the tribal seats, the JMM and the Congress's candidate is leading.
Right. We have updates that JMM's Stephen Marandi is leading from Maheshpur by significant margin, that is by 13,000 votes. Abhishek, we were talking about the various acts that both the BJP and the JMM and Congress alliance have sort of, made a part of their narrative. And apart from that, we were also speaking about Himanta Biswa Sarma's comments and how the BJP has made the Bangladeshi infiltration as a political plank. What do you have to say about that, Vikas? Talking about the Bangladeshi infiltration in Jharkhand.
Yeah, so basically, what I feel is that, first of all, the Lok Sabha election experience of the BJP in Jharkhand, where it did better than the opposition but lost all the tribal seats.
Correct.
So, and of course, Hemant Soren was also sent to jail, which symbolically may not have gone down very well with tribal voters. So, the BJP was very, desperate to get back the tribal votes. Now, you are taking on a primarily tribal party, the JMM.
Correct.
And you've performed badly in the tribal seats in the Lok Sabha elections. So the BJP wanted a way out, first of all, to endear itself to tribal voters and somehow also to associate tribal voters with issues of Hindutva.
Correct.
Because, in tribal belts in Jharkhand or even parts of Chhattisgarh, there's a significant section of tribals who believe that they have a Sarna religion,
yes,
which is they say, distinctive, different from Hinduism or Christianity. Of course, there are some tribals who have been under Hindutva influence, some under Christian influence. So, but that autonomous stream of tribal religion, unless they kind of somehow associated with Hindutva, the chances of success were not very high, especially in the light of the Lok Sabha poll elections. In fact, more than 10 years ago, I had gone to Jashpur in Chhattisgarh, very close to the Jharkhand border, and there I saw that the festivals of the tribals like Sarhul and Karma, where they used to worship trees and groves, RSS used to go and tell them that, these trees represent Shiv and Parvati. So there was always an attempt to somehow associate. So this time what they did was that a very core RSS concern, which was primarily relating to Assam, which was illegal immigration from Bangladesh,
right,
of Muslims into Assam, Bengali speaking Muslims. So in Assam, that is not just an RSS discourse, it is a very core concern of Assamese society also, right from the 1980s, even before that, when the Assam Accord came up in 1985.
Correct.
In Tripura again, that has been a bit of an issue because there has been Bangladeshi, it is said there has been Bangladeshi illegal immigration, even Hindus from Bangladesh have gone there. In Bengal, well, that has been an issue, but in Bengal, Dalits having migrated is not a very strong political issue. So they tried to import that issue into Jharkhand. Now, they said that the proportion of tribals in Santhal Pargana is going down. They said that, Hemant Soren has been, making illegal Bangladeshi Muslim immigrants settle in madrasas first, giving them documents and then making them voters. And then these infiltrators, quote unquote, marry tribal girls, they acquire tribal land. So all this discourse was very similar to the Assam discourse.
Correct.
Now the thing is, first of all, it seems that there was not much resonance on the ground at all because the tribals themselves did not perceive this as a major thing. And secondly, it was very difficult logically to somehow convince voters that Hemant Soren, whose core vote is tribal, wants tribal population to go down and Muslim population to go up.
Yeah.
Which does not make much sense because it's like saying that Akhilesh Yadav wants Yadav population to go down.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Correct.
So, this is all that the BJP tried, but it seems, as I was seeing the results, it seems that in the tribal belts of Jharkhand, it is again an almost clean sweep I saw just a handful of seats where the BJP was leading, otherwise it's all JMM. So, this particular plank has not worked and the tribal vote in Jharkhand remains a concern for the BJP.
Absolutely. How badly does Congress want a Jharkhand win? I mean, Maharashtra, both the places they are in coalition, but Maharashtra is a more trickier equation because there are two more partners. With JMM, how badly do you think, how desperate is Congress for a win in Jharkhand?
No, of course. Congress right now is desperate for a win anywhere, right? Because they really need to get the game going. The 2024 Lok Sabha was a flicker of hope when they reached 99 seats, because twice in a row they could not even have enough seats in the Lok Sabha to get the leader of opposition officially. This time they got it. But then if 2024 was a beginning, the beginning ideally should be followed by a trend. But Haryana and Maharashtra have bucked the trend, which is not very good news for the Congress. Secondly, what is not good news for the Congress is that even where the Congress seems to be doing relatively well in alliance, for example, Jammu and Kashmir, it was eventually Omar Abdullah, who was a Congress ally, who came to power, but then the Congress underperformed very badly. J&K, they did very badly, and the BJP did much better in Jammu. In Haryana, they did not do very badly in terms of percentage of votes, but the thing is that the Congress was expecting Haryana to turn a new leaf, but eventually the BJP succeeded in forming the government with a simple majority. Maharashtra, again, if you see I was looking at the vote shares of the BJP and Congress individually half an hour ago, while the BJP was getting 24% votes, and it's not contesting all seats, which is a pretty good vote, Congress was getting 10% votes. So it was almost a 2.5 times difference. So second bad news for the Congress is, while JMM is doing pretty well, the thing is, Congress in alliance in most states ends up being a smaller and junior partner. And if you end up being a smaller and junior partner almost everywhere, you have to be the fulcrum of the opposition in Lok Sabha elections. Unless you are able to come close to the BJP consistently, match it, Lok Sabha elections are always dicey for Congress.
Absolutely. I also want to ask you that, we understand that India bloc is an alliance, but after the 2024 Lok Sabha polls, they have sort of not been seen together. So has there any course correction that has happened from, let's say, April, May to up until now, or has it not worked? What is happening?
Look, the thing is, for the India bloc to be something like what the NDA is today, as I said, every alliance is only as strong as the core party, the backbone of the alliance. So in the past also, NDA alliances would survive on the strength of the BJP, which was not as much as today, but still it was a reasonably strong party. The UPAs would survive around the Congress. So Sonia Gandhi used to be the towering figure in the UPA. What has happened here is that while for a moment after the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, there seemed to be a lot of camaraderie in parliament within the India bloc, because they thought that, okay, Congress is taking a head start now. 99 could be 150 next time. We also saw Mahua Moitra even saying when Rahul Gandhi walked out during her speech because he had some work, and BJP people said, look, he's going, and she said, he's my leader. So I won't say anything to him. Akhilesh was also seeming to be, very friendly with Rahul. But then we saw UP by-elections, the Congress eventually decided to sit out, because the Samajwadi would not have given it many seats, except maybe Ghaziabad. And the Congress did not want to draw a blank. It sat out. Not just did it sit out, Congress people from UP went to Wayanad to campaign. Right. So it's very clear an alliance is basically a kind of a, we call them ideological and all that. Partly they may be, but they are not always ideological, because what is the ideology of Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray? If you see over the last 5 to 10 years, is it a secular ideology, quote unquote? Is it a communal ideology, quote unquote? We don't know, because even those are negotiable. It all depends on what brings you power, what is the condition of the party right now. So when you look at this, alliances are basically where a party cannot come to power on its own. Every political party wants to come to power. It tries to align with other parties so that votes add, and there's a chance of winning.
Correct.
Now, if the Congress is not being able to add as many votes as required in various states, then India bloc will always remain a slightly tentative entity. The Congress has to, at least in the states where it's powerful, it has to show that power in direct contest against the BJP.
Absolutely. That was Vikas Pathak, the senior journalist with the Indian Express. And now we are going to be joined shortly by our reporters, Vala Bozarkar from Mumbai. But before that, let's take a look at the current trends that have poured in so far.
counting progresses for the Maharashtra and Jharkhand Assembly elections 2024, political leaders weigh in with strong statements. Meanwhile, early trends are in, and the BJP-led National Democratic Alliance is leading in both Maharashtra and Jharkhand, while the NDA is looking to retain Maharashtra and wrest power in Jharkhand. The India bloc will aim at pulling off an upset by defeating the Mahayuti alliance in Maharashtra while securing a victory for Hemant Soren in Jharkhand. Here is what the leaders are saying.
क्या लगता है आपको?
ये शुरुआती रुझान ही अंतिम रुझान के रूप में आपको देखने का अवसर मिलेगा। झारखंड की 4 करोड़ 21 लाख जनता की आकांक्षा आज वो अभिव्यक्ति के रूप में सामने लोगों के दिख रहा है, क्योंकि वहाँ पर जो शासन था वो कुशासन था। वहाँ पर जिस प्रकार से नौजवानों के आत्मा में प्रहार करने का काम हेमंत सोरेन की सरकार ने किया था, महिलाओं के साथ सबसे ज़्यादा अनाचार की घटना वहाँ घटी थी, और जिस प्रकार से बांग्लादेशी घुसपैठी वहाँ पर आकर के तांडव मचा रहे हैं, उससे जनता त्रस्त है, पस्त है, और इसीलिए इस कुशासन के खिलाफ ये जनता की अभिव्यक्ति है। मैं पूरे चुनाव के दौरान जगह जगह पर घूमने का काम किया हूं और ऐसा महसूस किया हूं कि जब मोदी जी और भारत सरकार के गृह मंत्री सम्मानित अमित शाह जी का जब दौरा होता था, उनके कार्यक्रम होते थे, तो जिस प्रकार से जनता उमड़ करके आती थी और उनके भाषणों के माध्यम से एक नया जोश का संचार करने का काम करती थी, और आज वो देखने का अवसर मिल रहा है। ईवीएम में सिर्फ कमल फूल और एनडीए गठबंधन के लोग चुनाव जीतने का काम करेंगे।
महाराष्ट्र में आपको वहां आगे चल रही है?
महाराष्ट्र में भी महायुति की सरकार बनेगी, इसमें कोई शक नहीं।
जी, काउंटिंग बूथ पे आप हैं, जीत के प्रति कितना आश्वस्त है?
देखिए, यहाँ हार और जीत की बात नहीं है, बात है कि जनता की हम सेवा कर रहे हैं और जनता की सेवा कर रहे हैं, और जनता ने यहाँ हमें अपना जो है मजबूत जो है मत दिया है, और मैं पूरा उम्मीद करता हूँ कि यहाँ जो है जो लोकतंत्र की परिभाषा है, जनता का जनता के लिए, जनता के द्वारा शासन, वही शासन सुनिश्चित होगा, और वही शासन के लिए जनता ने अपना मताधिकार का प्रयोग किया है। और निश्चित तौर पर हेमंत सोरेन जी के नेतृत्व में आदरणीय सोनिया गांधी, राहुल गांधी जी, मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे साहब, मीर साहब के आशीर्वाद से यहाँ इंडिया गठबंधन की मजबूत सरकार बनेगी।
जितना ओपिनियन पोल आया है उसमें क्या लगता है, विश्वास कर रहे हैं?
मैं इसे व्यक्तिगत तौर पर इसे भ्रामक दुष्प्रचार मानता हूँ, और ये मैं मानता हूँ कि ये एक सोची समझी साजिश के तहत इस तरह का भ्रामक प्रचार किया जाता है, और इसके पीछे कई कारण हो सकते हैं। और हो सकता है कि ईवीएम के साथ छेड़छाड़ का भी कारण हो सकता है, या और भी कोई हिडन कारण हो सकते हैं, लेकिन मैं इसे मानता हूँ ये मिथ्या प्रचार है और ये एक सुनियोजित साजिश होती है।
कल रात 2:15 से 3:15 तक यहाँ का जो प्रत्याशियों के लिए लगा हुआ था सीसीटीवी कैमरा और मॉनिटर, वो सारा ऑफ हो गया लगभग।
मैं इसे गंभीर विषय मानता हूँ, और भगवान न करे कि ये कोई साजिश हो, लेकिन यदि ये साजिश है तो ये निश्चित तौर पर ये चुनाव आयोग के विश्वसनीयता पर एक बड़ा सवाल खड़ा करती है, चूंकि अचानक सीसीटीवी का 45 मिनट तक बंद हो जाना ये अपने आप में एक बड़ा गहरा और गंभीर संदेह व्यक्त करता है, और मुझे लगता है कि इस तरह की चीजों पर जिला प्रशासन को भी और चुनाव आयोग को भी कड़ा संज्ञान लेना चाहिए।
See, not only the counting has started in Jharkhand, but a new era is also starting. The end of the Soren rule, misrule, rather I should say, of corruption is going to end. And the postal ballot counting is on, so we expect the first trains to come in an hour. But we are very, very hopeful, you know. Like you can see, it's a bright morning. And it is going to usher in some more brightness as the day progresses for BJP and for the people of Jharkhand at large. Hemant Soren is on his way out, and we are going to come back with a thumping majority.
देखिए, निश्चित रूप से महाराष्ट्र में पूर्ण बहुमत के साथ महायुति की सरकार आ रही है, इसमें कहीं कोई संदेह नहीं है। जिस प्रकार से महाराष्ट्र में विकास की गंगा बही है, तो महाराष्ट्र के मतदाता महायुति के साथ हैं और 175 प्लस महायुति आएगी।
वोटों की तुष्टीकरण का आरोप बीजेपी पे लग रहा है कि कटेंगे बटेंगे जैसे तुष्टीकरण के नारे लेकर आप चुनाव लड़ेंगे।
यह कोई तुष्टीकरण का विषय नहीं है, यह समाज में जागरूकता का विषय है। क्योंकि जब समाज जागरूक होगा तो निश्चित रूप से जब हिंदू बटा है तो वह हिस्सा देश से कटा है। इसलिए एक है तो सेफ है, यह केवल चुनावी मुद्दा नहीं है, यह एक समाज का मुद्दा है।
चुनाव में वोट जिहाद बड़ा मुद्दा है जिसकी वजह से आपको नुकसान उठाना पड़ा। इस बार बड़े पैमाने पे हिंदू मतदाता घर से बाहर निकला, लग रहा है ये परिवर्तन हो रहा है।
देखिए, वह लोग वोट जिहाद किए, वोट जिहाद किस लिए किए? देश को तोड़ने के लिए, देश को संकट में डालने के लिए। और यह धर्म युद्ध चला है, धर्म युद्ध में लोग निकले हैं और मत किए हैं और महायुति की सरकार बनाएंगे।
अगर मान लीजिए एग्जिट पोल के हिसाब से आपके नतीजे आते हैं तो इस बार क्या मोदी की लड्डू बटेंगे या फिर जलेबी?
नहीं, सभी लोग हर्षोल्लास के साथ मिठाइयां बांटेंगे। धन्यवाद।
रुझान આગળ વધી રહ્યા છે ત્યારે ભાજપ 100 થી વધુ બેઠક ઉપર આગળ વધી રહી છે।
निवडणुकीच्या वेळीही अशाच प्रकारे लाडू तयार करण्याचं काम भाजपच्या कार्यकर्त्यांनी
2000 कहाँ से आए लड्डू? ये श्री गणेश भंडार नारायणवाड़ी से।
आदेश किसने दिया, किसके ऑर्डर पे आए हैं?
नगर सेवक अतुल शाह जी ने।
अतुल शाह जी ने। तो नेताओं का कॉन्फिडेंस लगातार बढ़ता जा रहा है। लड्डू का आगमन हो गया, हरियाणा में जलेबी थी, लेकिन यहाँ महाराष्ट्र के चुनाव
फिलहाल ट्रेंड्स में बीजेपी अपने दम पे ही 110 सीट या उसके आसपास दिखाई जा रही है, तो बहुमत महायुति की तरफ जा रहा है, ये रुझान बताएं, क्या कहेंगे?
देखिए, रुझान हम 160 प्लस महायुति के लिए सोच रहे थे, उसी प्रकार हो रहा है। वो और आगे भी बढ़ सकता है। रहा सवाल बीजेपी का, बीजेपी की अपने स्वयं बल पर बीजेपी 100 क्रॉस कर रही है और महायुति का मुख्यमंत्री बनने जा रहा है।
लेकिन महायुति के मुख्यमंत्री आप कह रहे हैं, तब बीजेपी के मुख्यमंत्री की मांग लगातार हो रही है कि बीजेपी सिंगल लार्जेस्ट पार्टी के तौर पे उभर रही है फिलहाल, तो क्या कहेंगे उसको?
देखिए, हर पार्टी को, कार्यकर्ता को लगता है कि मुख्यमंत्री हमारी पार्टी का बने। उसी प्रकार भारतीय जनता पार्टी के हर एक कार्यकर्ता लगता है कि मुख्यमंत्री हमारी पार्टी का बने।
मिठाइयां आई हैं, करीब 2 क्विंटल के आसपास मिठाइयों को ऑर्डर दिया गया, ऐसा समझ में आ रहा है हमें। तो मिठाइयां आनी शुरू हो गई हैं, तो सेलिब्रेशन शुरू हो चुका है ऑफिस में, हम कहें।
देखिए, कार्यकर्ता है, कार्यकर्ता स्वयं मिठाई ला रहे हैं, लेकिन जब तक ये कंक्लूसिव रिजल्ट नहीं आते और जब तक हमारे बड़े नेता यहाँ पर नहीं आते, तब तक मिठाई का वाटप नहीं होगा।
बड़े नेताओं में कौन कौन एक्सपेक्टेड है आने के लिए, आने वाले समय में?
देखिए, ये प्रथा रही है, माननीय देवेंद्र जी फडणवीस यहाँ पर आते हैं, बाकी नेता भी जो उपलब्ध है वो आते हैं। चंद्रशेखर बावनकुळे साहब भी अगर मुंबई में तो वो भी आएंगे और उसके बाद सेलिब्रेशन होगा। लेकिन अभी फिलहाल हम वॉच रख रहे हैं। अभी ये ट्रेंड है, जब वो कंक्लूडिंग रिजल्ट्स में डिक्लेअर हो जाएगा उसके बाद हम सेलिब्रेशन करेंगे।
मराठी सांगा ज्या प्रकारे आम्ही बघतोय,
पण कार्यकर्त्यांनी उत्साहामध्ये स्वीट आणलेला आहे। मात्र आमची अशी पद्धत आहे, जोपर्यंत रिझल्ट इलेक्शन कमिशनच्या माध्यमातून डिक्लेअर होत नाही, कन्क्लुझिव्ह होत नाही, तोपर्यंत आमचे मोठे नेते इथे येऊन ते डिक्लेअर करत नाही, त्याच्यानंतर आम्ही स्वीट वाटत असतो।
तुम्हाला काय अपेक्षा आतापर्यंत जे कळ आहे त्याच्यामध्ये बीजेपी सिंगल लार्जेस्ट पार्टी म्हणून समोर येते?
100% आम्हाला महायुतीचं सरकार बनणार याचा विश्वास होता, त्याप्रमाणेच ते होत आहे। भारतीय जनता पार्टी ही सगळ्या 6 पक्षांमध्ये सिंगल लार्जेस्ट पार्टी राहणारच आहे, किंबहुना ती 100च्या वर जाते आहे। आणि 1991 नंतर असं पहिल्यांदा होत आहे की एकच सिंगल पार्टी 100च्या वर 100 वेळावर सीटा घेऊन येत आहे।
पण मुख्यमंत्री पदाचा चेहरा कोण, आता हा मराठीचा प्रश्न समोर आलाय।
भारतीय जनता पक्षाचा जर इतिहास बघितला तर राज्याच्या हितासाठी जे आवश्यक आहे तशा व्यक्तीला मुख्यमंत्री आम्ही बनवतो। त्यामुळे तिन्ही पक्ष एकत्र बसतील, शीर्षस्थ नेत्यांसोबत डिस्कशन होईल आणि मुख्यमंत्री।
Vote counting has begun for the by-elections in Kerala's Wayanad Lok Sabha seat and the Palakkad and Chelakkara assembly seats. The counting started with postal ballots as attention turns to Congress-led UDF candidate Priyanka Gandhi Vadra making her electoral debut. Priyanka faces strong competition from CPIM-led LDF's Satyan Mokri and BJP-led NDA's Navya Haridas. After an hour of counting, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is leading by over 35,000 votes in the Wayanad Lok Sabha by-election. The seat previously held by her brother Rahul Gandhi holds immense symbolic and political importance for the Congress. Although the by-elections won't directly impact state governance, the results are a critical litmus test for the Congress and the broader India bloc. The Congress is under pressure to prove its relevance after recent struggles in Haryana. Priyanka's campaign focused on key issues including farmers' challenges, rehabilitation of landslide victims, broader national concerns like unemployment and inflation. The outcome will signal whether Congress can regain lost ground in key constituencies ahead of the general elections. This election is a pivotal movement for Priyanka Gandhi's political career. Her grassroots strategy and focus on personal connection have been central to her campaign. A strong performance could solidify her standing within the party. A poor result may raise questions about her political viability. With the Wayanad seat carrying Rahul Gandhi's legacy, the stakes are particularly high for both Priyanka and the Congress. For more updates, keep watching the Indian.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching the big verdict for the results of the Maharashtra and Jharkhand Assembly Elections 2024. In the studio, I am joined by Harish Damodaran, who is our National Rural Affairs and Agriculture Editor at the Indian Express. And apart from that, we are also joined by Abhishek Angad from Jharkhand and Vivek Sundaram from Kerala. So Vivek, we were cut off before. What's happening in Wayanad? Priyanka Gandhi has taken a lead by 2 lakh votes, it seems.
Yes, this was much expected in Wayanad. Priyanka had a major lead when he contested from Wayanad, and it was supposed to be repeated this time around. And Priyanka is leading with over 2 lakh votes already, and counting is just halfway through. The lead is expected to rise. In Wayanad, the LDF candidate, Satyen Mukherjee, is a seasoned leader. But still, Priyanka's popularity, the UDF's popularity in the constituency has reflected majorly in the elections.
Absolutely. So when you were on the ground reporting from Wayanad, what do you think was the sentiment on ground?
The sentiment was always tilted towards the UDF. It has been a Congress stronghold for a while now, and Rahul Gandhi had a huge margin in the last election as well. And especially after the landslide that happened last year, that also affected It is always good to have a national leader representing your constituency. And in this case, Priyanka Gandhi is an able leader, and she is very well loved in the constituency. And that clearly shows in the results.
Absolutely. Harish, coming back to you, now the rural voter turnout has been a topic of discussion in these elections. So we'll track back a little bit. How do you think that the rural voter turnout and the issues have sort of developed from Lok Sabha elections up until now in Maharashtra?
I think one difference, I would say there are two differences between Lok Sabha 2024 and Assembly elections 2024. Yeah. Lok Sabha elections, we entered Lok Sabha elections with a very bad drought. Yeah. Okay, Maharashtra especially had a very, the very huge rainfall deficiency. Correct. Okay, so in that sense, the agrarian distress was obvious. Okay, and plus you had all these onion export bans and all these kind of things. So obviously there was a lot of anger. Okay, so number one, whereas this in 2024 assembly elections, you are entering with a good monsoon, so no over distress, right? This is, I think, one difference. Number two, I think there was no Ladki Behan scheme. Okay, in Lok Sabha, whereas in the Vidhan Sabha elections, you had Ladki Behan scheme.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that has been one big difference. Okay, as far as farmer distress has been there, so I would say two negatives which were going for the Mahayuti. One was definitely the farmer distress in the sense of low prices, low prices for soya bean and for cotton, and these are very premium. I mean, these are very major crops which are grown, especially in Marathwada and in Vidarbha. So that was one thing which was going negative,
Yeah.
And the second which was going negative, of course, was very high food inflation, which affects everybody, right? High inflation. So I think these two were the negative points for the Mahayuti, but it looks like the Mahayuti very successfully rode over the negative points. It is probably number one, a good monsoon helped. Okay, so in the sense there was no drinking water problem, those kind of things, whereas earlier it was terrible, in the last year's the monsoon failure was very obvious, and you had a very scorching summer, right? I mean, the elections were in the peak of the summer, you had a real heat wave in March itself, so probably, I mean, I would say that a good monsoon kind of a thing, it softened the thing, and though there was food inflation, probably the Ladki Behan Yojana, it kind of softened the blow, so many people would have been saying, hey, too much of inflation, but then I get this 1,500 rupees per month, and so probably I think that seems to be the main factor, whereas definitely I saw, I mean, a lot of farmer anger, but that was more about, low prices, because this time you had a bumper crop of soya bean particularly,
right.
And prices are very low, lower than last year, lower than the middle, lower than the MSP, and there's been no government procurement at all, but clearly I think the Ladki Behan, I think, overrode all these negative factors.
Absolutely. We will deep dive into the agrarian issues when it comes to products. But Harish, over the years, you have 32 years of experience in journalism now. Over the years, how do you see the rural voter in Maharashtra evolving with each election?
I think overall, I would say that the so-called farm lobby is not as strong as it was, and whereas earlier, I think the farmer vote counted a lot, and that was basically articulated through, very strong Maratha identity, because a lot of the farmers happen to be Marathas, whereas I think that Maratha dominance is probably over, and that is probably a third factor, maybe there was some kind of a silent anti-Maratha consolidation which happened, just like we saw in Haryana, right? There was an anti-Jat consolidation.
Correct.
So and the fact that it was also combined with welfareism, right? And especially I think this cash transfer scheme, I think that was a real winner. So I think that is the real this thing, and you can see also the NCP Sharad Pawar faction has been doing very badly. At some point, I think even Rohit Pawar was trailing. I don't know whether he's leading now, but the fact that NCP Ajit Pawar has done so well compared to the NCP Sharad Pawar, and it was generally believed that all the the cooperative barons etc. moved towards Sharad Pawar. So it means lot has changed. So I would say even the caste combination. So probably there's been more of an OBC kind of OBC women. I think this has made the difference. So I would say that it is almost it's almost like the end of farm politics.
Absolutely. We were talking about soybean, but I want to also direct your attention a little bit to sugarcane. And, recently you wrote a piece on why Maharashtra sugar mills are turning into machines for harvesting cane. how do you see that applying to the larger picture?
I don't think sugarcane was an issue at all in this election, because sugar mills pay, I mean, there is no farmer distress as far as sugarcane is concerned, and ultimately, sugarcane is grown in only about, say, 1.1 million hectares in Maharashtra, whereas soybean is grown in 5 million hectares, right, and cotton I think about 4 to 4.5 million hectares, but it's just that the sugarcane farmer and the onion farmer, onion is grown in just about 500-600,000 hectares, but those farmers are very loud. They know how they know how to make their presence felt. So but this time there was no distress either in sugarcane nor in onion, right? I mean, onion prices have been good, and the government also removed the export ban, right? I mean, so to that extent, it kind of neutralized the anger, So whatever anger was this time limited to basically soybean and cotton. But it looks like even that has been more than neutralized by the Ladki Behan Yojana, and the Ladki Behan, the scheme, the cash transfer, The fact is the number of farmers are less than the number of agricultural laborers or consumers, right? And probably Ladki Behan helped actually soften food inflation. We entered with very high inflation. Probably this is the first time in the history of India in any elections where party is winning with, despite onion, potato and tomato prices being, 40 rupees, 50 rupees, with very high vegetable inflation, a party winning, it is remarkable. So that only means that the people said that, okay, hey man, we are facing a lot of inflation, but the government is very caring. They are giving us this 1,500 rupees per month. So probably that helped kind of neutralize any anger. Yeah.
I also have Vallav Ozarkar from Mumbai. Hi Vallav, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Yeah. Vallabh, if you can give us the numbers that have currently poured in, give us an update.
Mahayuti is leading on like 220 seats right now, and NUA is leading on 50 seats, and others are like on 10 to 15 seats. Numbers are changing, the leads are changing, it's fluctuating right now, and it seems that if what the lead continues for Mahayuti, then Mahayuti is going to form the government smoothly in the state.
Absolutely. Vallabh, I also want to know what is the rumor or what are the discussions that are doing around who will be the CM pick for Maharashtra?
See, in Mahayuti, everyone is like the BJP people are saying that Fadnavis is the preferable choice for them, but the NCP and Shiv Sena, they're also waiting for their leaders, like for Shiv Sena, Shinde, and for NCP, Ajit Pawar. But more or less, looking at the numbers, it seems that BJP's Devendra Fadnavis is going to be the chief minister as of now. But the discussion is yet to take place. The results are yet to be out completely. So the Fadnavis has more chances, but.
Absolutely. In the Ladki Bahin scheme, that sort of targeted female voters, and it did show that there was a surge in the number of female voters. How did you see the trend mirror in places like Mumbai and the MMR?
See, Mumbai, there were 11% more female voters than 2019. In Thane also the trend continued with 9% in Palghar district, which is the neighboring district of Mumbai, and it's a tribal district, rural tribal district. There also the trend continued with 8% more women voted than the 2019. So it seems that the welfare schemes like Ladki Behna Yojana and the other women-oriented schemes have worked for the Mahayuti, and that's why the lead has followed. Similarly, the voting percentage has anyways increased from 2019 overall also. Around 53 lakh more women voted this time than 2019. So that the whole 53 lakh voters, women voters, seems to have helped BJP in, as far as the lead is concerned, it seems that it has worked. And the schemes have actually worked for the BJP.
Absolutely. How much do you think that the Vinod Tawde controversy sort of impacted the voters, or did he not have any impact at all?
It was only, I feel that the people were not that surprised. They were like, yeah, it's happening. And it was only for that particular day that it was hyped. And it was discussed widely, but the next day it was like nothing happened, kind of thing in the public and the large the ground.
Absolutely, Vallabh. Harish, now coming back to you, you mentioned that there was once upon a time when the farmers in Maharashtra were mostly Marathas, and there is this element of Maratha pride, definitely. But why do you think there is this issue that the farmers' distress is not the top of a poll agenda? Because Maratha quota or pride of Marathas is still a major issue. Manoj Arange Patil is a biggest example of that. But despite that, why do you think that farmer distress is not the main poll issue?
See, number one, I think Maharashtra, I think the last census showed that about, 55% is rural and 45% is already urban. So it's possible that the urban has actually, it has actually overtaken the rural, or maybe it would be more or less the same. Maybe it would be 50 to 50, 50-50 if a new census is taken. Okay, and I think within the rural, probably the farmers are much less, and even among farmers, a lot of their income comes from non-farming. Yeah. Okay. So earlier, I think we were more of an agrarian kind of a country, and Maharashtra would have been an agrarian state. And so the people who were farming, they control probably the votes and everything, So maybe that has diluted over a period of time, and most farmers are Marathas, and it's not that all Marathas are farmers, but a lot of the farmers are Marathas, and it's a fact that the number of consumers are higher than the number of producers. So probably, over a period of time, the farm vote has become more and more less significant, and maybe that is where, so even if you look at the movement for Maratha reservation, it is not over any MSP or on any farm issues. It's more on, that our people should get reservations in government jobs and in government educational institutions, So I think farm politics is now more or less, I don't know, I think in India we are seeing a very interesting period where it is becoming marginalized. I'm not saying irrelevant, but it is becoming marginalized to larger consumer interests, and a large number of people today, get a lot of government handouts, etc. Right? I mean, so probably, they are pretty happy with this kind of a thing. And I think definitely in Maharashtra, I believe that there has been some kind of an OBC consolidation, which has happened silently, and probably I think so many. It's a very complicated thing. I'm sure people will keep analyzing this election, but offhand I can think of OBC consolidation. I can think of Ladki Behan. Okay, and I can also think of the fact that there was no drought, there was no distress in the sense that, the people had no water to drink. And, actually Partha was traveling with me in Marathwada. He told me the last time he had come there, there was no vegetation, there was nothing, it was very dry. Whereas when we saw, we went from Pune to via Sholapur, all the way to Latur and all. We saw it was quite green, there was a lot of vegetation, and people were busy, sowing the next Rabi crop. So I think that itself would have made a lot of psychological difference. Whereas when you're going to vote, with temperatures some 45, 46,
right.
I think that itself would have precipitated the anger. So I will say that, weather has helped. Ladki Behna has helped. And yeah, food inflation was bad, but still it's okay. I mean, it has yeah, and probably, I don't know, probably the Mahayuti had more boots on the ground. Probably they were better organized. Maybe whatever the management of the voters, etc. I think probably the campaigning was much better. These guys were probably more laid back. They were going by their past glory. Like Sharad Pawar and all. So probably I think we have to reconcile ourselves to the fact that history has changed. We are in a different period. Yeah.
Definitely. We'll be joined shortly by Partha, and we'll talk more about that. But before that, Harish, I want to ask you, you called the soybean as the political crop.
Yes.
And you also mentioned that this deep-rooted anger of farmers came from the fact that they were highly dissatisfied with the MSP.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that? Because you have given a lot of numbers on it, like you mentioned the hectares.
Yeah.
So can you quantify this anger for us?
Yeah. So as I said, soybean is the most widely grown crop. Not many people know it. Everybody, when you talk of Maharashtra, you immediately think of sugarcane and onion. Whereas the crop which is grown in the widest area is actually soybean, and something like 5.1 million hectares, and cotton on another 4 million hectares. And these were crops where the prices were very good, say about 2 years ago. Farmers got 10,000 rupees per quintal, 8,000 rupees per quintal. This time they have been selling at hardly 4,200 rupees per quintal. So obviously there is a lot of anger among farmers. But clearly it didn't convert into votes. Now why that didn't happen, I won't be able to answer. All I can say is probably the number of non-farmers were more than the number of farmers. And probably many farmers, their wives and their sisters and daughters, they also would have got maybe they would also have benefited from the Ladki Bahan Yojana, right? I mean, Ladki Bahan Yojana, I think ultimately it has benefited something like 2.5 crore women. That's a huge thing, and probably that is higher than the number of farmers today. So maybe I think that is the reason I can think of.
Absolutely. Again, we'll be shortly joined by Parth, but before that, you also said that many rural households are now agricultural.
Non-agricultural.
Non-agricultural.
Yeah, non-agricultural, or rather, even if they are agricultural, they derive a significant part of their income from non-agricultural activity. Yeah.
Right.
So farming is important, but it may not be their primary source of income. And many farmers are trying to actually even exit agriculture, and that is where the demand for the Maratha community says that we want reservations. And when they are demanding reservation, it is basically they are saying that, hey man, we are tired of doing agriculture, we want to get into services, and please help us. I think that is the call. It is not for so I think even within farming families, the demand, yes, obviously they are very unhappy about prices, and also the fact that the costs are increasing. The cost of labor has gone up, the cost of inputs, whether it is fertilizers, whether it is pesticides, that has gone up. The risks have increased. The chances of crop failure have gone up. Because of you can call it the effect of climate change. Yeah.
Parth, if you can hear us, Harish Damodaran has been speaking about the rural Maharashtra, how has been the plight of soybean farmers, and how agrarian issues have sort of not taken center stage, but have been an important issue, especially with the Ladki Bahin scheme. You were on the trail with Harish sir. So tell us more about what you observed.
So one thing that we had noticed in Latur was soybean prices were pretty low, and that had got a lot of people angry. As sir was talking about it, the cost of production has increased, but the realizations have not increased to commensurate the same. I was just speaking before I joined. I was speaking to a few people out there. So in jest, they said a few things. One is that Ladki Bahin, in which they got around 1,500 per month. So the amount was quite big. And that had helped, and money is money at the end of the day. Secondly, another thing that happened was that maybe the Mahayuti hit the grounds with a vengeance. They hit the ground, they understood the plight of the farmers, they understood the issues that were going on. Not that they did anything much about it, but there was direct ground connect. On the other hand, the Congress or the NCP, Sharad Pawar or Shiv Sena UBT, they were on ground. It would be unfair on my they were not hitting the ground, but they might not have hit the ground with the vengeance that they should have or they would have during the Lok Sabha election. And there was a lot of rebellion within MVA, which they could not iron out, but Mahayuti managed to iron out a lot of rebellion. Thirdly, the Maratha consolidation, the Maratha versus OBC consolidation that we thought was going to happen really did not happen, because all caste and all religion did vote for Maha Vikas Agadi. Although there were narratives of batenge to katenge, ek hai to safe hai, but that really did not take ground, because there we had leaders like Pankaja Munde, Ajit Pawar trying to put soothing oil over this and trying to say this is not what we stand for. So the result is for all of us to see. Across Maharashtra, it's a saffron wave. I was looking in Vidarbha. Vidarbha was supposed to be the stronghold of Congress, and Congress was expecting maximum from Vidarbha, but they have all but been wiped off from Vidarbha. Vidarbha, two main crops, soybean and cotton, both are below MSP. Farmers are selling it at a distress, but yet this is not. So the reason might be many. This was not a national election to begin with. So the narrative of constitution, the narrative of secularism, the narrative of reservation did not really stay here. It was quite a local election, but with a very different take. There were lots of undercurrents. Many Congress leaders, many BJP leaders did tell me that there were undercurrents in the election which not many people have realized. And the result is for everyone to see. None of the exit polls, I think, had given such a landslide victory to Mahayuti. And I think after the NCP Congress governments of 2004, 2009, this would be the third time in which a government is coming back with improved and thumping majority. And the credit obviously goes to Ladki Bahin. Ladki Bahin has been a flagship, and Ladki Bahin has been quite good. And we need to analyze like how much of income is coming from farming, how much of income is not coming from farming, and whether farming issues can become an electoral issue. Now, after the Lok Sabha election, the so-called farm leaders were all decimated. We did not see a single one of them make any dent in the electoral politics of Maharashtra. Let it be Raju Shetty, let it be the Shetkari Sangatana, let it be other people, but it did not. And even now, as we speak, the Achalpur MLA, Bachchu Kadu, he is trailing in the third place, which is unheard of. Bachchu Kadu is this independent man who is like known to be the messiah of the downtrodden, of the handicapped. He was a minister of the Mahayuti government, but he fell out and he charted his own accord with Chhatrapati Sambhaji Raje, and they had their third front, which really did not do anything good. But even Bachchu Kadu is trailing in Achalpur, which was supposed to be his fiefdom. He had this Robin Hood kind of image. He stayed till around 2 years back. He stayed in a rented house. Only he started building his house just a year or two back. He gave up his ministership, and in Amravati he had a huge hold in Achalpur, but in Achalpur BJP is winning. So the narrative of any divide, OBC, Maratha, that really did not work this time. What worked was Ladki Bahin. The voters maybe thought that getting the money, a sparrow in hand is better than two in the bushes. And just now someone told Vijay Jawandia, I was speaking to him, and he said the narrative of soybean and the narrative of kapas, that is cotton, came up very late in the electoral dialogue. The opposition could not capitalize or encash on that. Soybean was below MSP as soon as it was sown. So after Lok Sabha election, the narrative he said should have been about soybean. And Narendra Modi in his first Sabha in Maharashtra did promise 6,000 rupees buyback for soybean. while Rahul Gandhi had offered around 7,000 or 7,000 after that. But then that did not really, that was too late. And by then the voters must have made up their mind thanks to Ladki Bahin.
Absolutely. Thank you, Parth. We are getting updates that Ajit Pawar supporters have already erupted in celebration. Harish, there was one pertinent thing that Partha mentioned, which we were speaking about before the exit polls. And it was the fact that Maharashtra assembly elections doesn't feel like assembly elections. It feels like a panchayat election with national ramifications because of the hyperlocal issues. And so we'll bring you updates. We'll keep telling you about the trends that are now starting to consolidate both in Maharashtra and Jharkhand. Keep watching the official YouTube channel of the Indian Express. And of course, for all the live updates, visit theindianexpress.com. Thank you for speaking to Harish, and thank you, viewers.